my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. I am your host, Phil S. Marks.
Fucking Mark!
And we are here for another hashtag DMDMW. This is episode 20. And this week, Dave Meltzer cries because Tony Khan deserves respect. Bryan Alvarez has NXT rage again. Some old lies come up to haunt Dave. And a whole lot more. So stay locked in here, guys. PWT Podcast is back. The OG podcast after a 3-month hiatus. It is back. Episode 102. Make sure you guys check that out. YouTube.com/@ProWrestleTimes. And make sure you check out Patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes for bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to see some flutes in the chat because without further ado, it is time for everybody's favorite segment turned show, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. We're getting them. He's got it. So I want to start with some star ratings this week. Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland at AEW Dynamite. 5.25 stars. So one of the greatest matches of all time. Went a little long. I think the finish was muddied up a little bit as far as they did some false finishes, like Swerve cheated and then it still wasn't the finish. And then they did some more false finishes. And then after there was like a schmoz where then Swerve did like a full heel turn, even though he like cheated in the match. And it was kind of dumb, man. It was executed poorly, but like overall, yeah, the athleticism of the match, I guess Dave just gives stars based on moves. Here's some other star ratings for the week. This was last week. Swerve versus Omega, again, 5.25. Fletcher versus Briscoe was 4.75 stars. Mystico versus Templario, Brian, was 4.75 stars. Titan, as Tony Khan would remind you, Titan versus Mascara Dorada, or maybe it's just Dorada, who knows? But 4.75 stars. Moxley versus Takeshita, 4.25 star. And here's the thing, right? Can I just point, or let me read through these, and then let me just point something out. Moxley Takeshita 4.25, Hangman versus Andrade 4.25, OC Ishii versus Gabe Clark 4.25, MJF versus Brody 4, TBS title 4-way 4 stars. So that had Shirakawa, Shafir, Bane, and Nightingale in it. And by the way, can I just say Bane's getting bodied up? Like she's always been bodied up, but like those abs are abbing, and she's in tremendous shape right now, and good for her. Like honestly, she'd be such a big star in WWE. It's crazy. Maybe one day. But Moxley versus Davis, 4 stars. And then Knight versus Mortis, 3.75 stars. And you know Dave's full of shit because like Moxley isn't having these back-to-back, some of the greatest matches of all time. But also, imagine you turn on a wrestling show and every single match is 4 stars. That's boring. It's just the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. So what Dave really means is, I love all of this. This is all automatically 5 stars or 4 stars. And really, it's just a quarter star in my mind for what his standard is. Right? Like, imagine not every wrestling show, like everybody's triggered that they worked a knockout angle on Raw between Natty and Maxine. Not every match is supposed to blow you away. Not every match is, we're going to have this contest and then there's a pinfall. And not everything should be a schmoz. And especially when you like to tout how, oh, well, here our drama is in the ring. But it's really not. Like, yeah, it's in the ring, but matches happen in AEW. Then a bunch of bullshit happens right after every single fucking match. WWE's guilty of this too, wrestling in general. However, when everything's the exact cookie cutter rated same thing, like, in order to have the greatest wrestling event in the world of all time, not every match can be 5 stars, even based on just athletic moves that you do to each other and the phony false finishes. Right? There has to be matches in there that serve the purpose of, like, this one was a quick banger. Like, this one just got a guy over. Not even factoring in, the fact they're in front of like 2,000 people at the most at a lot of these places. Like, currently, what's the narrative this week? Dynamite sold out. They sold out the setup. It's crazy. They're doubling down. The Sickos and Dave and their ilk are doubling down on the fucking, the attendance is too sold out. Bro, years ago, people stopped caring about quote unquote sellouts because it's the sellout to the setup. Literally, Dave is running a campaign and the Sickos are running a campaign right now that WrestleMania is in trouble, and then saying Dynamite sold out when they were in a 12K, 11K seater and sold a little over 2,000 tickets before the show. The day of the show was at 1,900 or whatever. A sellout. It's fucking cooked, man. Like, they're just desperation. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? And we also learned that Netflix backed out of the Warner Bros. Deal. They backed out of it. As of today, it's official. Okay? They're going with Paramount. Now, you can choose to listen to the likes of Niccolo Piccolo if you'd like to or not. His prediction is and has been, if Paramount gets it, I believe this is accurate. Someone can go check his Twitter. He said if Paramount gets it, they're just going to cancel AEW. If they're just not even going to deal with that. So maybe that's inaccurate. I don't know, Lex.
I don't know.
None of us really know, but it's a bold prediction nonetheless. And Netflix backed out, so it seems like Paramount is going to be home of the UFC and AEW. No, dude, they're going to cancel that shit. They work with TKO in the UFC and stuff. It's just not going to end pretty, I don't think. And it's desperate times. All the hype's around Mania. No one gives a fuck about Revolution or any of this shit they got going on. So Dave has to just desperately dole out these fucking stars and just make these lies, push the narrative of sellouts, man. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? WWE fans have been eating it because, dude, they're doing these massive sellouts. When you say that, people go, what? They're not actually selling out. They're selling out the setup. You think it's actually sold out? Tickets distributed. Like, people want to try and break it down on that technicality. When it comes to, like, okay, this place has seated 15,000. WWE did 12,000 in the building, and they said it's sold out. I mean, that's pretty well a sellout. You still have to be all technical with these fucking tards half the time on Twitter, or when you're dealing with Dave, he'll break it down all technically like that with WWE. And then meanwhile, AEW does 2K people barely in a 11K seater. And we're supposed to sit here and go, yeah, that's a sellout. Like, these are just old tricks And it's just not working. If I was Tone, I would distance so far from Dave Meltzer, but he will never do that because you guys all know who the best guy is. Tone.
Best guy is Tony Khan.
So moving along here, while on the topic of Dave Meltzer glazing AEW and WWE, he's also been called out for his publication being full of shit. He's had a bunch of lies. Some of them kind of resurfaced again. And just not even lies. Well, it is lies, but it's like just bad journalism in general. And a lot of people were shitting on the awards, including one, Bryan Alvarez, which we played the clip of this last week. Boy, the weeks are flying by. But Dave Meltzer buries Bryan Alvarez, essentially. And Garrett Kidney piles on. You know Dave likes Garrett more than Bry. That's why Bry's tasked he goes out there and he's being humiliation ritualed by, he comes back from break and the first thing he does is he starts spurging out about fucking NXT again. It's like, come on, dude. They did this. He's like, oh, they need to call these guys up. I just called them up right now. He goes away for a week. Everyone gets called up. Now this show's shitty. And it's like, Bryan, what the fuck do you think they would have did? Like we're going to get into it. We'll jump into it after this, but it's like, Bryan, what the fuck do you think was going to happen if they did it your way? When you literally said, call them all up and give them belts and drop their belts and call them up and give them belts on the main roster. And then they do that. We don't even know if they're called up yet, but they drop some belts and there's clearly a changing of the guard. You know, Ethan Page could be that masked man and shit. At this rate, he just dropped the NXT North American title, and now it's not good enough for Bryan. It's like, clearly, this is faux. Ava was there. I mean, the show's good, but Ava just is pointless. The show is fine without her. Ava's gone. He gets, all of his dreams are coming true, and then he just still is like, nope, not good enough. It's still shit. That's why you know it's Lion Bryan, right? He's like being humiliation ritual. So, anyways, though, Bryan Alvarez says the answer is it's Dave's opinion, and you are welcome to have any opinion you want. And that's after this guy Colin says, it's like, Dave, how in the flying fuck does Tomohiro Ishii, a man that moves like the old people riding the motorized carts at Walmart, have more 5-star matches than Kurt Angle, arguably the greatest male performer ever? And then Bryan Alvarez says, the answer is it's Dave's opinion. Right. So, again, Bry, try and keep up. I know he's your boy, so you'll never just say this part, but here's the thing. We all said, oh, it's just Dave's opinion. And then Dave went, no, it's not my opinion. Even this year, he just said, well, everybody seemingly agrees that the awards were correct this year. I mean, everyone across the board think that they were spot on. And he even said this about the Sports Illustrated Awards and the other awards. We chronicled it all here on Pro Wrestle Times and Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. He even said, yeah, you know, these other awards, I mean, I don't put much stock into them. I mean, other than ours are pretty like objective. And when Chris Van Vliet, the Giga Chad, fucking pressed him, what is the curriculum for stars? Essentially is what he's trying to get out of Dave. And Dave is like, well, I mean, it's how the crowd moves. And CVV said, well, it's like your opinion, right? And he just tried to get him to say that. And why would CVV? Is CVV a dumb guy? Is he just a hater, anti-AEW sicko? Is he just a hater on Dave? Dave's got it right. We're all just delusional. Why would Giga Chad Van Vliet try and fucking dig that one out of Meltzer just to get him to say it? Well, because he sees online, like all of us, how Dave condescends anyone if you insinuate it's just his opinion. He believes it's objective reality and truth. He's the all-seeing eye of pro wrestling. So then Bry can come out here and say this, but no, that's not the answer, Bry. We already figured that out a long time ago there, bud. Now, the reason it's still a pylon and still not even a pylon, just people calling out like, dude, this doesn't make sense. Your opinion is ass. Stop. The conclusion people are trying to get to is like, stop fucking pretending and being condescending and schmarmy to everyone and pretending like you're Uwatu, the watcher of pro wrestling, of the WWE universe, of the pro wrestling PW universe, cinematic universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, cut that shit out. Cut that whole shit out. Stop like lying and clearly being biased towards one type of shit because you have a billionaire spending money on putting your type of shit on TV and you're allowed to consult with him and he's a fan of yours. So you're a fan of his. Like, stop doing that, or just admit that's what you're doing. That's all people want, right? That's all anybody really wants. And also, it's just funny, like when you get put into lol cow status, that's just what you are now. Now you get farmed for lols. It's that simple. Okay? You can undo it, I guess, if he were to just be like, yeah, everything's... If Dave was like, yeah, I've been paid this whole time, I'm a shill, I'd throw a fucking parade. I might take a week or two off the show but probably not even. I'd probably do more episodes of DMDMW that week so I could cover all of his cope and seethe and him flip-flopping around on that too. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a lol cow. It's funny to watch him spurg out about wrestling. So, and then pretend he's cracking news and revealing news and all this shit. And like ruin his legacy. That's the thing. If there was a documentary about a guy ruining his fucking legacy, everyone would be like, man, what compelling, riveting shit. But because we're doing it in real time, because your boy Phil's doing it in real time, people got a problem with that. Robbie Fox from Barstool has a problem with that. So Bryan Alvarez, he's like, you're welcome to have any opinion you want, which is true. But Bri, we don't need you to say that. We need Dave to say that. That's the problem. That's why he keeps getting called out and shit, right? It's what it is. So, pardon me. And so this guy here, Garrett Kidney, which I believe is Garrett. Is this a guy trolling Dave, or is this the guy that works with Dave? Who's the guy that works with Dave? I can never remember his name. Garrett Gonzalez. Yeah, so this is a different guy. Garrett Kidney says, writing this kind of story is an Ouroboros. Ouroboros. That's a great word. We need to add that to our lexicons here. Ouroboros. Let's look it up. Let's Google it. Is an ancient symbol depicting a serpent or dragon eating its own what? Hey, Illuminati confirmed. Anyways, of engagement farming that really illustrates the decline of the Wrestling Observer as a publication. And Meltzer says, it's a viewpoint from a pod. Okay, this is what he says. Well, the Wrestling Observer as a publication has nothing to do with this. It's a viewpoint from a podcaster on the site. Do you hear that, Bri? Do you hear that? You're just a podcaster on the site. You're doing all that fucking you're doing all that getting off on fucking the faux outrage, and we're gonna say getting off and doing the splits, the things that have been said about Gail Kim, which we're gonna get into in a bit, with what Dave said about Gail Kim, and the way him and Kenny just talked about her so disgustingly. So you're doing the splits for Daddy Dave, just using their just saying what they said about other people.
Sometimes in life you got to be a hoe.
And he just called you're just a mere podcaster, dude. That's how he values you. Look how tired and emotionally drained Bryan Alvarez is. How fast he's aging. How he's losing his mind. Just the circles around his eyes. He's just tired, exhausted. Comes back from break and he's just forced into fucking. Dave's like, now you get out there and shit on NXT, Bryan. And he just does it like a little butt dog, And then Dave goes, he's just a podcaster on our site. A podcaster on our YouTube. Who cares? Very different. And the key is one category out of nearly 50. Garrett says, that was in response to Bryan Alvarez, critical of some WAN Awards voting. The worst I've ever seen. And then he agreed with a bunch of the ones that he's like, Vic Joseph it should be a worse on commentary. Michael Cole. It's crazy. He tried to say Vic Joseph was bad on commentary. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I'm
Bryan.
correct in my assessment of Bryan's rant on it. But anyways, the awards have come and gone. Okay. And we talked a lot about trying Bryan melting down about NXT. And we're going to get into it here. So he's back from vacation. He's back and more tired than ever. And he's back and he says, NXT still doesn't make any sense. Well, did you take a break watching it? Did you take a break from watching it? Why doesn't it make sense, bud? Gives a fuck. And they switched some titles and some people are getting called up. And I thought that's exactly what Bry wanted. He's crying about Javon. Javon's called up right away. Obafemi. Obafemi's probably going to answer Brock's challenge and beat him at WrestleMania. Really think about that. And that's what Bry wanted. Luthez. So I love how Bry he's like becoming Mark Norman in a and so here he's gonna trash NXT here. Again, back from vacation and just a miserable fuck with this fake little smirk on his face.
Not only are they doing a 3-way, but like they've added, it's now a 7-minute time limit.
I knew you'd love it.
7 minutes.
Bryan, I know you're not big into this world, so you're probably never taken Speed. Well, I have.
So again, the Speed thing, it's a triple threat match. They made it 7 minutes. I mean, I don't know what the deal is here.
You know what happens if you take more and more Speed? You go faster.
Like a championship fight in MMA, they add 2 extra rounds. I don't know.
Burn faster.
Bro.
Your mind starts moving at a faster pace. It doesn't slow down.
Speed matches should have a 5-minute time limit, and the championship match should have a 3-minute time limit.
I think for every person you add, you should subtract a minute.
The championship match should be harder, not easier. Why would the championship match in a speed tournament be 5 minutes instead of 3? That doesn't make any sense.
I'll tell you
now
why.
You're going to add another guy and it's going to go 7 minutes. It's not even a speed match anymore. Now it's just a bad match.
There's a simple reason why, Bryan, and we found this out before you left. You remember?
I mean, it's fair, but it's just like the most minor thing. Because like, what the fuck is a speed triple threat match? Now you're flipping everything up. Like in that way as well. So I get what he's saying about it. I don't get why this Jasper Troy guy is the fucking speed champ or was. Elio LaFleur, what's his new goddamn name? That guy's awesome. But yeah, Jasper Troy I think is gonna get that monster push now that like people are getting out of the way.
I remember, the people remember, and Robert Stone remembers. Shawn Michaels likes chaos.
Get out of here.
Yeah, typically fucking triple threats are like way longer these days. So
not
moving
only are
along
they doing
here,
a 3,
I think we have some more Bryan faux outrage nitpicks. I know people are pointing out that Bry like put over. He was like, "Well, this show is good." I know. We're a-logging him here. What are we? He's faux outraging about Speed. No one gives a shit about Speed. WWE fans don't give a fuck about Speed. Okay. So yeah, let me check in here. Sorry, see, I got a chat. Thank you so much, David, AK1911 for 10 says legit question: has AEW ever made a new star? A new star. Do they have anyone that wasn't already established in WWE, Japan, or Mexico? Wasn't already established in WWE, Japan, or Mexico, MJF, and so no, they've never made a new star. Now, here's the thing: what constitutes a star in pro wrestling, right? Some people say if they're just at the top, like is Mike Santana a star? He's on top. He's a star in TNA. He's a star for TNA. He's one of their top stars. But like in the grand scheme of pro wrestling, is he like a top star? It's a debate. And it's like, if he goes to New York, can he draw? If he goes to Chicago, can he draw? If he goes to Philly, can he draw? If he goes to fucking out west, can he draw? If he goes up to Canada, if he goes to, I think that means star. Like if Roman Reigns pulls up to any town, it's a big deal. Roman Reigns. So, or even like a Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. Those are top stars for sure. But if we're talking like top star for AEW, yeah, I mean, you have MJF, you have guys like Hangman that people didn't really know. He was in Ring of Honor. People knew him, like sickos knew him and shit, but now there's like a whole slew of WWE fans who would have never known fucking what Hangman Page was until AEW. So as far as AEW is concerned, yes, like they've made stars for themselves, I guess, like the people on top that are more known, but like have they made a star that could jump to WWE and like shift the fucking that wasn't made in WWE first? No, maybe you could argue Cargill, but who made her a star, WWE or AEW? She had a great run in AEW, but was she a star? She was one of their stars, but was she a top star? I don't even think she's like a top star now. She is technically because they gave her the belt. You guys get what I'm getting at. But it's a great question you pose, and no, I argue they haven't made a fucking star other than MJF is a star. But I'll say this. And again, I'm not trying to diminish AEW, but if that guy pulled up in TNA and was grinding there the last 2 fucking years or whatever, or 5 years, whatever you want to, he would have Shawn, is that the right word? He would have shined through. Shawn Michaels. He would have fucking shined through. Like he would have risen to the top. It's fucking MJF. Any company you put that guy in, I think he's going to rise to the top. And we'll really see when he goes to WWE one day. That'll really be the litmus test. But no, Tone's never made a person a star. And here's the other thing, too, that never gets talked about. And I brought it up on PWT Live Show. And sorry, I know I'm going long on the super chat question, but I love it. He's never made like an Undertaker either. Think about like Umaga. Think about a character like Vince McMahon invented. I guess Umaga's like a wild Samoan, so I guess whatever. Maybe that one doesn't count because that's always worked. But he's invented characters. He's taken a guy, Mean Mark Calloway, and then been like, okay, we're going to repackage you in this gimmick. And then he took Cactus Jack, turned him into Mankind, and then fucking Mankind's a star. Not only is Cactus Jack a fucking star, but Mankind was like a top star. You know what I mean? Tone's never done that. Hologram and El Clone. Those are his big ideas, and have those paid off? Luchasaurus. No offense, but I think he was Luchasaurus before that. And I know, and I'm not trying to like diss him because I know he's had health problems and shit, but like even that gimmick didn't get fleshed out as much as it could have when initially with the Jungle Boy run and all of that. So look at what WWE's even doing with Penta. Like Penta was already a star everywhere he went. AEW we got Penta now. WWE went, well, let's take Penta and show what he can do to the masses. And let's make him appeal to the masses. Tone he doesn't even know how to do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the super chat. And thanks for asking that, because that shit needs to be explained more. Like people need to point that out more. Where's the good booking? Where's the creative? Oh, the storylines are great. Everyone's challenging for belts. Oh, fucking sweet. Who gives a shit? You know? So anyways, moving along here. So let's just have some Dave fails. The GOAT Meltzer said what? He's always Dave and pulling his card and stuff. So and one thing that Meltzer does that really upsets a lot of people beyond the condescension is he will tell everyone to go read the Observer like it's a fucking Bible. And then on his radio show and Twitter, he will just say completely different shit or vice versa. Well, he'll say read the Wrestling Observer like it's the Bible, and then he'll go and say things that he's not saying on Twitter or whatever, and he'll have like the complete opposite opinion. almost, or like argue something to a point, even though he writes some shit in the Observer. So Meltzer said what? Saying he will hedge his bets and write more reasonable takes in the newsletter. Meanwhile, all his dumb podcast quotes and takes are the social media WWE rage bait, which is true. And Dave Mosley in the Observer, the shit he writes isn't egregious as egregious as his tweets and the coping he does in his tweets, but or like what he says on his radio show, but he just like omits stuff, or he embellishes stuff, or he adds things, and it's fucked. But he says the show is 14,510 tickets out, and I think he's talking about Mania, so it's still 2,500 shy of capacity, but the secondary market is strong with nothing below 313 at press time. That's surprisingly high with so many seats still unsold, but should be sold out come showtime. And this has to do, pardon me, with the Elimination Chamber. Okay. And Dave then goes on his radio show and talks about like, oh, well, they're not sold out in Chicago. So
they're not sold out in Chicago. I actually had somebody who's in the business from Chicago who,
oh, I know someone. He lived 3 doors down from me. I'm here without you, baby, but you're still on my mind, Bryan.
And, wrote me this morning and basically just said,
he wrote me this morning
because
he sent a fucking Falcon with a letter. Okay,
I thought like, hey, this thing would sell out. You got Punk, you got the Chamber, WWE pay-per-views are hot. People are willing to spend a lot of money. And basically the guy was saying that like, look, for one ticket in the 200s, it's going to cost me like $658, I think, some number in that range, right? And it's just like, it's like, it's just not worth it. Now, the one thing about Mania,
what's not worth it? So then he just shits on the product. It's not worth it. Okay, but like Tone was charging $200 to, there was like $400 seats and shit when they're trying to go to Australia. I think maybe that was like with a package included or whatever. Maybe someone was buying a couple tickets, but they go to Australia, they're charging up the ass, then they have to do free upgrades. Is that worth it? Come on, man.
Which I wrote about in this issue is, they did that 25% off weekend and they didn't move any tickets.
Yeah.
Dave, you do 50% off all year long and you don't move any fucking newsletters, buddy. You're going backwards.
That's so it's like, even 25%
poor
off
people don't like AEW,
but you take 25% off. They didn't move any. Now all of a sudden, look, they're still going to end up with 50,000.
Now people. All of a sudden, look, they're still now all of a sudden what, Dave? Now and then he goes, look, they're still going to end up with this. Now all of a sudden, what? It's going to sell out all of a sudden, or are they still selling the fucking Chamber and Mania and all of these things? Like, people don't get it too. They're like, oh, they haven't announced any matches for Mania. Yeah, because the Chamber is like a major event that they can take to Australia and do 50,000 people. Like, the Chamber's a huge event now, and it comes before Mania, and everyone's TikTok brained and fickle now. The news cycle's like 2 days. 2 days, and the Epstein files are just being fucking, everybody's forgot about them. You know what I'm saying? We got you get a week out of something at the most. So with fickle wrestling, where people are just getting over, like, it's overload of wrestling right now. I saw a chart of all the fucking events surrounding Mania Night 1 and 2. Thank God Mania. WWE were the first ones to go, you know what? Let's fucking move NXT to another week. Because, like, look at all these events surrounding Mania. There's like 100 of them. We'll go over the chart on the live show. But they need to sell the Chamber first, and then they'll just start announcing and then in storyline, the Chamber's pivotal to 2 world title matches. So you'd think for WrestleMania, even in kayfabe, you'd want to like prioritize figuring out the contenders for your world titles, and then the tag and all of that can come after. It's just like in MMA, the heavyweight title gets the top billing because that's our world heavyweight championship that we need to decide. Should be a key factor in that. So I don't know, man. I think it makes sense that they kind of hold off a little bit, and it's just adapting to the times so you don't get left behind. Adapting to the pro wrestle times.
There. And they'll still probably say they had 60,000 people there. But
Yeah, who cares? Who cares if they
it's
do that?
It's not the end of the world, but it's also they got carried away with ticket prices because of what they can charge for UFC, and they don't see, TKOs go, look, what's what we charge for UFC. It's just a different audience with a different mentality.
But then WWE brought in more revenue than UFC. So how different is it? Is it just shit that appeals to the masses, Dave, and you don't get it because you're in a sicko bubble, but you're like this weird entitled fucking sociopath where you think that you're like above everyone? You're like on a fucking limitless pill 24/7 and everybody's just a plebeian below you?
And I don't think you can. I mean, you can charge pretty high prices, but like you can charge last year's prices. Put it that way. I don't know if you can charge this year's prices.
Yeah, I just don't know if Dave knows what he's talking about. And then here he's like, well, they're still going to sell out and they should move the last few tickets. And I mean, they're only 2,500 away. Only that amount that AEW can't even draw, but this will be good, So he says, go and read my Observer like
they're not sold out in Chicago.
Bible, like it's the Bible, and I'll give him credit. At least he's being more fair in the actual Observer, but I don't see the rest of the page. I'm sure there's a bunch of other bullshit down there. So moving along here, Dave Meltzer gets his card pulled by Meltzer said what again. And Dave Meltzer was kind of coping over lying about Hobbs's age. And I think that's what people were attacking him for recently, or I don't even want to call it attacking, just calling him out. So Julian Weeks, Julian Weeks is a guy who like owns a fucking car lot and is a WWE fan or something like that. And Dave will go back and forth with this guy, quote tweet him, quote tweet screen grabs of him, call him a fraud and all of this shit. He's just a guy with a Twitter and an opinion. He's not called Pro Wrestling Weeks or anything like that. He's just a WWE fan and he slings cars for a living. You know what I mean? And Dave is so triggered by this like everyday average American who fucking, like your regular dude who's got a family and rolls his sleeves up and gets to work and he's a fan of WWE. So he comes with sound opinions and he calls the sickos out on their shit who attack him with all this racial shit and constantly go at him. And he takes shots at AEW, but it's hard not to. Like when you're just like standing what you stand and then people just come fucking for you constantly. And that's unfortunately what the sickos have unleashed. Like they went so hard that now there's a bunch of wackos out there, and I've coined the term wackos, and they fucking go nuts on the AEW. You can't post anything pro AEW now because people fucking shit on it. And it always will counterbalance that way. And so Dave is so triggered by this Julian Weeks guy. But meanwhile, it's like Alfred Konuwa, Phil Marks, anybody else who calls him on his shit. And he just, when Nicolo Piccolo was calling him out, he just like ducks out and pieces out and fucking block or will talk past them or mute them. Will he won't like engage them. He went on his message board. Oh, just don't even talk about Nick anymore. So he's just going at average everyday dudes instead of like his peers or people who fucking, I don't know, present themselves as like a knowledgeable in the field or whatever the fuck. Not that Julian Weeks isn't, but it's just a matter of like, you would think you would want to, I don't know. You think you would want to not feed into something like this, and you would take when like a Nicolo Piccolo's calling you out more serious or something. He's like in Hollywood and shit, or let's say, an Alfred Konuwa who's writing for Forbes, has a popular YouTube channel and shit. Especially when Dave loved Alfred until the Fast Nationals didn't work in AEW's favor. And a couple of those Fast Nationals and a couple of the things Alfred Konuwa wrote kind of proved Dave wrong and was critical of AEW. And then they all fucking melted down on him, and then they all hate him and are calling him a fraud. And they just label anybody a fraud who goes against them. And so he's going after this Julian Weeks guy, calling him a fraud. How is he a fraud? It's not like he's some fucking India bot farm account. He's a dude. He's an American goddamn citizen who just voices his opinion on fucking pro wrestling and calls you out on your shit. He's a fraud of pro wrestling tweeting, Bryan. Like, why does this trigger you so much? So Meltzer said what comes with the receipt. So Julian Weeks says Dave frequently runs smear campaigns on people leaving AEW. Never forget the report about Alistair refusing to put guys over. One of these days, somebody going to put hands on that old man. Now, that is pretty wild to say, but he is right. Like, Booker T almost put hands on him, and he wouldn't because he's an old man. But remember, Dave was shitting on Andrade when he lumped Andrade in with Alistair Black and Rusev. And Andrade, they don't want to put people over. It's like they're just there collecting the check until they go back to WWE. That's the idea behind what they're doing, Bryan. Do you guys remember all that shit? And then now Andrade's back. Dave literally pretends as though his first run didn't exist. He literally speaks as though Andrade's like a homegrown AEW guy, and fucking the fact that he came over from WWE isn't why he has heat right now. Andrade has fucking heat right now because he came over from WWE. That's the reason. That's why everyone was like, oh shit. And he was still under contract and all of these things. And he's having good matches. He was having good matches in WWE too. He was about to get a push with fucking Phoenix. And it's not like he didn't want to be tag champs with Phoenix. He was just tweeting out publicly that he wants Phoenix to join him again in AEW and fucking become tag champions, even though he left Phoenix high and dry. And Dave just sits there and pretends like the first run never fucking happened and things like this. But he was smearing Andrade the first time. And now he's just acting like he wasn't fucking doing that. He did the same thing. Jade Cargill. Anybody who opposes Tony Khan. So Julian says, one of these days, somebody going to put hands on that old man. Melissa Martinez says, isn't it convenient that the Will Hobbs, now known as Royce Keys report, comes out right as he joins WWE? LMAO. And then Dave goes, printing somebody's age, just like I do for every wrestler released and most signed, being designated a smear is paranoia so far any rationality. And Dave does this like elitist thing, like, what do the elites do in the world? You're just paranoid and shit. And then it's like, Epstein files. Oh, shit. Why aren't people talking about, but it's like, okay, are we really being fucking paranoid, or is it just we're identifying your bullshit? It's not paranoia. And again, Meltzer said, what's like, then why did you not correct your mistake? Or are you a pathological liar? Like, why did you not catch yourself writing 35 before and going along with it until you knew you could just put a 41? Dave knows what he's doing. He knew what he was doing with that shit. And yet he calls other people frauds and shit. It's like, look at what you do. And speaking of him getting hands, so we talked about and Dave being a fraud. Like, he's about to lie right here too. And he's about to fucking talk shit about Sharmell and how she would have got hands. So maybe actually I'm with Julian Weeks. Say that shit because he's saying that about fucking Sharmell, the queen. The queen! And so Dave Meltzer tells the story, and I wish we had this last week, but this is his side of the story of the Booker T fight on the Jericho cruise. So he tells his story of his confrontation with Booker T and alludes that his 63-year-old cousin Sherry with cancer would have kicked Sharmell's ass because of her kickboxing background. Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
If something happens, control of your man. So now she's pissed. Okay. See this, she's really pissed. She storms right after her. Okay. And now I'm thinking.
Okay, hold on. Let's back. I already got to do a rewind. Hold on a second. Who's he talking about? Who's someone storming somebody? And if he's trying to put his cousin over, she would have whooped Sharmell's ass. We actually had things under control. I could have taken Booker T. He's gonna do, dude, you got bitched up, and now you're gonna do the, oh yeah, you walk away. You know when a guy's like a little puss and then everyone gets in between? Oh, fucking, yeah, man, you get out of here, walk away. And you're just trying to be the bigger person. Like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking. Everyone's been in that situation or seen it unfold where you're like at a bar, people are fucking, you might get in a little tussle. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to be the bigger person here. Like, it's not worth it. And then fucking, yeah. And then the guy starts acting tough when, like, you know, you could have fucking just choke slammed him. And that's what Dave fantasized. I would have Canadian destroyed him, Bryan. I would have hit him with the one-winged angel, Bryan.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
I would have reversed the and I told Booker T, look, pal, I would have reversed the scissor kick. When you go to do the spinneroonie, I'm gonna roll you up from behind, Booker. Oh my God.
If something happens, control of your man. So now she's pissed. Okay. See this? She's really pissed. She storms right after her. Okay. And now I'm thinking, okay, this is not a good situation because if something happens there, you know, like first thing that's going to happen is I got to jump in between him, and he's going to jump up, and he's going to take a swing at me. Like at that point.
So. Who is this person again? Sherry, his friend, his cousin. So Sherry Meltzer, okay, was gonna jump up. A 63-year-old woman with cancer was gonna jump up and like start throwing fucking leg kicks and start fucking Alistair over-reaming Queen Sharmell. Because Booker T said, get the fuck out of here. So now your cousin goes after Sharmell. So you're both piece of shit babies. No, but like, I don't wish ill on his fucking, on his cousin. Okay. And, whatsoever. She doesn't deserve any of Meltzer's shit, but it's like, come on, man. How were you guys raised where, what did Sharmell have to do with it? Did she tell you to fuck off too? Is Sherry in the wrestling biz? Like, come on, dude. You're embarrassing yourselves. So this woman, you sat down, Booker says fuck off, and then Sherry starts going after Sharmell, is what you're saying, Dave. And then you were going to get in between that, and then Booker would have swang on me, but I would have ducked the Harlem sidekick and reversed it into a Tope Con hero, Bryan.
I actually was concerned, so I just dragged my cousin away, and we just left, you know, and that was the whole thing. So, I mean, the only situation that was tense was Sherry and Sharmell, and you know I didn't want to see fight, especially because she's, you know, she has a pretty good kickboxing background.
Oh my God, dude. No, she did Taibo to take off a couple LBS in the summer. He doesn't have a kickboxing background.
Would you please shut the hell up?
And that's the last thing I wanted to see. She was also 63 years old and just battling cancer, and, you know, just getting over cancer.
She was Ip Man, Bryan. My cousin Sherry's Ip Man. I didn't
want to see a fight. Sharmell was very upset.
She trained with Frank Dukes at the Kumite.
And
well, you know, oh man, Rico Verhoeven was her mentor. She had a poster of Rico Verhoeven on her of Goku Saki on her fucking, or Gokhan Saki, or whatever the fuck his name is, on her wall, Bryan.
Rightly so.
Oh,
you know, because it's like, look, she's the only one who's being. I mean, I guess Rick was being an adult, and I mean, I wasn't doing anything one way or the other. But she was the only one trying to calm the situation down. Right. I guess Rick was too. But she was.
Well, I mean, Rick telling you, like, you know, come back later. That is part of, you know, figuring out the deal.
Yeah. Just come back later. And so, you know, but I'm going like, you know, she was trying.
You know, Dave just buys flare drinks all night too.
Diffuse the situation, but you know, my cousin was. You know, you have to understand the relationship that we had. Like she just felt that.
What? Wait, what?
She wanted to meet Rod Laver, and this was screwing it up. And then it wasn't even just that. It was just like, you know, she was just That's just what she said, and Charmel took offense, and nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean, she's probably feeling a little overprotective of you at the same time.
I don't know about that, but just...
What do you mean, Dave? You just said the relationship we have. And then Garrett's like, yeah, she was being overprotective of you. Well, I don't know about that. So then what kind of fucked up relationship do you guys have? What are you talking about? Like, because I thought you were alluding to the relationship, you guys are really tight, and so therefore she'd be protective of you. And Dave's like, well, I don't know that she was being protected. I didn't need protection. That's why the thumbnail's the thumbnail. I don't need protection. Only Tony Khan needs protection. Holy.
She has a lot more of a temper than I do. I mean, I don't care. I didn't care. It wasn't any big deal until that moment.
So basically, Booker T tells the story, a completely different story, where he just bitched you up and told you to fuck off. Now you're saying that your cousin is temperamental and fucking freaked out and made it a scene to where Booker had to tell you know what I mean? You're just passing the heat off like he does with his bad journalism on other fucking people and other things, doesn't take accountability. Or you're just revealing some other shit that your cousin. So not only did you pull up and no one wanted you there, but then you brought your hot-headed cousin who started shit with Queen Charmel and you almost got a smack for it. Like, come on, dude. Dave's a fucking moron. Ugh. So, speaking of Dave just offending legends, and he said bad shit about Gail Kim. He's done it in the past. And so Gail Kim says, when Dave Meltzer offers to send you, and this is a few days ago, when Dave Meltzer offers to send you a newsletter of his to show his credibility. I may have peed a little. When Dave Meltzer offers to send you a newsletter of his to show his credibility. So Dave Meltzer hit Gail Kim up after the type of shit he said about her and the sicko said and the fucking hate brigade he brought on her and other people over Rio while crying that people were bringing hate brigades over to fucking Rio. I've gone cross-eyed, goddammit. Because Dave's such a kooky bitch. And then he hits her up to give her a newsletter so that what? She can be like, I'm reading The Observer. So desperate to fucking sell these shit rags. And so there's a follow-up here with the Gail Kim stuff. So Meltzer said what? Post this. Dave Meltzer, a drunken ex-girlfriend, Hulk Hogan, Arsenio Hall, a banana, Paul Heyman. You guys know the famous Dave Meltzer banana story. If you don't know it, go back and find it. It is Dave Meltzer's story about his ex-girlfriend and smushing a banana in her face, and it's all he could think about all week, and I'm not joking. Some of the past Meltzer shit, before he realized everybody was going to call him out on his shit, is some of the best stuff ever. And call him out for these ridiculous fucking stories he'd tell on the air. Some of the best content ever. Make sure you check it out. So Meltzer said what? Post this, a screen grab of Dave arguing with one Bill Phil, who says, you must feel a tremendous betrayal when a wrestler or talent you helped build up throughout the years. He's saying this to Dave. It's not Dave's job to build talent up. I put Swerve Strickland over more than fucking anybody for a long time in the early couple years of the show. He blocked me. Edge. I'll never hate on Edge. On this day, the rated R fucking superstar. He blocked me for me being critical of AEW or maybe one of his matches. I couldn't even tell you. It's same with Dustin Rhodes. I've never, ever done anything but put the Rhodes family over for their contributions to pro wrestling. Fucking blocks me on Twitter, let's say. Is that a great betrayal? You can't feel betrayed by that. Okay? And it's not my job to get these people over. That's the promotion's job to promote people, just like it's not Dave Meltzer's job. Now let's take it to another level. Dave is the guy who just simply chronicle. I'm just a retard who fucking A-logs people, right? I'm just a fucking dumbass on YouTube who talks a bunch of shit. Dave Meltzer's the journalist, all-seeing objective eye of pro wrestling, the star rate. He won't cop to the fact it's just his subjective opinion. He condescends everybody. He says he studies the television business, he's a master. He studied every aspect of the pro wrestling business. His literal words, he studied every aspect of it and like mastered every aspect of it. Never taken a bump in his life. All of these fucking things, okay, over the years. And Dave just writing about wrestlers historically, writing about how many people were in the buildings and stuff, that's great, but that's never been his job to help push a narrative to get anyone over. As soon as you start doing that, you're a shill, like it's crossed the fucking line. Yes, do you want to promote and highlight and spotlight people and things like that? Yes, but it's not a betrayal if then you talk shit or lie about people or affect their friends' jobs and shit. Like, Dave doesn't get it either. You have to understand something, man. When you, like, affect someone's job by what you write about them or try and, like, lure someone over, like Javon Evans, and then fucking that could be someone's friend as well, and they could get mad at you just by proxy or think you're a dumbass by proxy. Like, that can happen too. So there's no betrayal. Dave owes them nothing, and they well, I don't know, he owes them some fucking respect if he's going to claim he's a journalist, fair, with integrity, covering the news, being objective about it, leaving his personal opinions aside and just reporting stuff instead of doing like this faux outrage activism activist bullshit, activism bullshit, and allowing people to infiltrate the way you fucking write about them because they were on your message board and they're a mark for you. Like, when you're such a mark for yourself that other people being a mark for you determines whether you're going to put them over. Like, all of these glaringly obvious things, it's not a fucking betrayal. Dave betrayed the people before anybody and way harsher than anybody. And if you listen to people like Eric Bischoff, he was a rat before the fucking internet, okay? If you listen to certain people, Dave was a weasel before all that shit. So this guy, like, you must feel a tremendous betrayal when a wrestler talent you helped build up. No, you're not. His job's not to build anyone up. And this is the problem with his 5-star rating. You have tards like this guy, one Bill Phil. No, he might be a good guy. But listen, you're saying that he's helped build guys up. To this day, there's people who think that Dave, when he gives people a bunch of 4 stars, that's building them up and that adds to their career and all of this shit. It's fucking humiliating. It's embarrassing. Okay? And so he says, throughout the years, and the Observer talks about you in a bad light after their career, like she is. And I think talking about Gail Kim here. And so, yes. So Meltzer said, hey, Dave Meltzer, when Gail Kim was getting off on the attention, how would you compare that to when you plotted revenge for weeks to smash a banana in your ex-girlfriend's face? And so this is in response to Gail Kim. And this guy's sitting here saying, like, you helped build up Gail Kim. Like, those matches don't speak for themselves. We needed Dave's 5 fucking stars or 4 stars or whatever to tell us those were good matches. No, dude. I could never imagine having a fucking simpleton brain like that. Just being a sheep that allows that. Like, no, just because Dave wrote about it and agreed with the masses that was a good fucking match with Awesome Kong back in the day doesn't mean he helped to build her the fuck up. And you see that Dave, he's coping here. I'm going to read this paragraph, and I'm taking the long way of getting here because this needs to be said, and we need to pull examples. Okay? Nathan Frazier is the perfect example. Dave was doing to Nathan Frazier like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago now at this point, what he's doing to Javon Evans now. Oh, boy, howdy. If Javon just went to AEW, he'd make 10 times what he's making now and would be the biggest star in the world. So that's like a dog whistle. Dave knows what he's doing. He's relaying a text message or a phone call from Tone. Tone's like, damn, if I just had him. If I didn't let him go. And Dave's putting it out there. Well, I mean, hey, Javon, if you went there, this Tony guy will pay you fucking 10x what you're making in the Fed, and you'll be a bigger star, even though Dave can't promise that. He doesn't even understand what a star is. So he was doing that with Nathan Frazier. Boy, I mean, he's just the best, the fastest. He's the best wrestler in the world. They don't do much with him, but he's just makes it the best, and he's the best. And if he went to AEW, he'd be the top. Tony loves that sort of thing. And WWE, they don't love that sort of thing. Tony Khan loves that sort. You guys remember when he was doing that with Frazier all the time? Then what did Nathan Frazier do? Dave Meltzer rated a Nathan Frazier match like 4.5 stars or some shit. Maybe even 5. I don't remember. And then Frazier quote tweeted, or maybe he didn't even rate their match high. Maybe he was just glazing Frazier. And then Nathan Frazier quote tweeted Dave and went, "Rare Dave Meltzer W." Dave's never put him over since. He just moved on, doesn't talk about Frazier anymore. Now he's on to the next thing, the next guy who does flips that he likes because he's a fucking child. And I'm not shitting on Frazier at all. Like I've said it a million times. I use him as the perfect example. Like, let's be real here, bruvs. Frazier can do everything Ospreay can do, but way faster. So what are we fucking talking about? Like, this is when we talk about a wrestler and what they contribute to your fucking show and how you use them, and like what everybody going like Ospreay's just a phenomenal wrestler, you can't deny. It's like Frazier can do every physical move that Ospreay can do, but faster. And it's more impressive because he's smaller when you really think about it. And he sells his ass off way better. So like, what are we talking about here? I would say he's a better fucking wrestler. Personally, that's just me. If you want to just break it down to the physical aspect of wrestling, well, he sells better and he can do all the same moves. So he's probably got better cardio too. So again, Dave doesn't put fucking Frazier over anymore because the betrayal. So Dave copes, okay? And he says, it's not like we were friends or even acquaintances. So not at all. I just had her back in WWE because they misused her and because they were decades behind the times when it came to women in the business. I just tried to explain the Rio situation to her. I wasn't the only one. She was getting off on the attention. And this is what Kenny said, doing the splits for TKO. Jazz fingers doing the splits for TKO. And then Dave's like, she's getting off on it. On the attention and the backing of grifters. No real person says shit like that. And the backing. She was getting off on the backing of grifters. No, you're coping and you just call people grifters whenever they point out how fucking stupid
you are. Coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
And like, what's with this sicko shit? She's getting off on it. Dude, you couldn't project any harder. Doing the splits on it. That's creepy. It's 26. What are you calling them, whores? Those fucking whoas. Like, what are you? They're strippers. I don't like you. You're a stripper and a whore. All right. And she didn't care to learn. No, Dave. People can hear you're melting down about Rio. People bullied her teeth, and you're backing up people who bullied her in the past. And they can go, well, that's retarded. We're all grown-ups, and you need to be a grown-up. And that can be their opinion. And it doesn't mean they're not willing to learn. She just might be like, dude, do you know what the fuck I had to go through in the wrestling business? I wish someone paid me 7 figures to not have to work and make fun of and people can make fun of my teeth all they fucking want. Like Gail Kim's like, do you know what the barriers I had to break down? And I am leaning into the fact that she's dressed like a fucking schoolgirl, in my opinion. And I find it kind of offensive, in my opinion. That means Gail's not willing to learn and she wants to back grifters. What kind of mentally ill child says and shit like this? Who even talks like this? God damn it. And that was made clear again. You're an old perv, dude. Just seems old and perverse. And so Fritz von Moltke writes, one thing to remember in Uncle Dave's latest feud is that he has years of evidence showing he doesn't respect women. It's all over the archives. And yeah, I mean, he's said that women are fat and stuff. And, oh, I mean, she's kind of chunked up, Bryan. I don't know if he said that, but he's sort of shit on the Iconics before. Now they're signed to AEW. So let's see what he's got to say about that. You know, Charlotte Flair, lots of women wrestlers have, you know, come at Dave Meltzer for going at women. And so, and again, like we have video, we've listened to it on the show. The story is Dave was spouting off some bullshit at his girlfriend at the time, and she squished a banana in his face and was like, shut up. And then they like broke up or something, and then all he could think about for a week was squishing a banana back in her face. And he did it as well. He squished a banana in her face. So again, he has some weird relationship. On the bonus episode of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, he talks about this girl. And he's like, well, and he's talking about politics. And he's like, well, this girl was on the news and, you know, she grew up close to me. We were good friends. Well, not really good friends, but like we hang out in the... and I'm not joking. It's like 3 minutes straight of him going, well, I don't know what you would call it. You know, she lived close nearby. It was like 4 houses down. And, you know, we weren't, and then Garrett's like, oh, you guys were in the same friend group. Well, no, I wouldn't even say that. I mean, we were acquaintances, not really. But he starts by saying we were really good friends. And the point he's trying to make is like this girl who I like creepishly stalked, because the more you listen to him, it's just like a girl who like went to his school or something. It was just a girl in the fucking area that didn't even know he existed. And he's like, we would have been friends if we were in the same friend groups. Our friend groups were like kind of in the same friend group, but not really. I'm not joking. It's one of the most insane things ever. And Dave is like, oh, this girl's I saw her on the news talking about China. And so I'm an expert in politics, Bryan. Like that's essentially the point he's making. He's an expert in fucking China and politics because this girl was on the news that he's seen one time. And it's just weird. He's got a weird, creepy fucking thing going on there. And so Dave said, there is no feud. That's a child's word for a disuxwin. He can't even type it out. He's just rage typing. No, that's not true, Bryan. That's not true, Fritz von Moltke. He's just going off typing fucking furiously. No, it's not true. Oh, dude, that's so funny. Can't even type discussion. How does your phone not? You have to be furiously typing because it's not like you're one letter off or it would just autocorrect. Discussion.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
But Dave's fucking typing away. Oh, discuss concussion. So he continues and says, and what you are talking about regards respecting and not respecting Riho. So again, it's like a projection. It's like what you're talking about, even though I was disrespectful to this girl, you're talking about disrespecting a girl. So that means I wasn't disrespectful to this girl. Or to this woman, sorry. That's what Dave's saying. No, it's like you run over someone with your car. No, you ran someone over with your car. You know what I mean? No, you are. What am I? I know you are, but what am I? That's what Dave's doing. Not me. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say to me sticks to you. It's like, okay, whatever. Let's say people were being shitty to Rio. What the fuck does that have to do with this? Well, I was being shitty to her in defense of her being shitty to a woman. Okay.
or,
Such
you know,
a
the young
dumbass.
superstar, you know, babyface, you know, the former heel thing. So
Dave just fucking deflecting. So, yeah, he just says, so the story shows a complete 180 from what you claim. And remember, Dave calls him, I'm the great reflector after I started calling him the projector. Oh, shit, that rules, man. That rules. We got some other stuff, man. He goes hard on WWE here. Let me get a sip. I just gotta hydrate a little bit, guys. How's everyone doing? Hope everybody's doing well. So Dave Meltzer, he melts down about WWE, of course. There's not too much on AEW. We kind of knocked all of that out. Just some side AEW stuff, not even side stuff. I guess it's all just as delicious as the entree. But here's Dave talking about AEW for a bit. Then he's going to talk about WWE. We're going to expose some of his lies and lies that were re-exposed from the past. But Dave just copes, and he talks about how wrestling's going to evolve over time, and he doesn't want to be stuck in the past. Now, this is fucking hilarious because I'm about to dismantle this shit.
in 20 years, these guys, they're going to be better than Kenny Omega, and they're even going to be smarter than Kenny Omega. Okay? They will. You know, if they get, you know, they may have to come from Mexico because, you know, because to be that smart, you have to have your reps. And if we're working once a week, they're not going to get the reps. They may not be as smart, but they're going to be smart in another way because they're going to be studying this stuff and learning from this stuff. But anyway, that's, you know, I mean,
they better not be studying the AEW stuff, dumbass. That better not happen.
Get that one for the rest of my life because it's just one of those things where I don't accept that there's the best way is my childhood. I love my childhood matches that I watched, but I don't accept it. It's the best way. I accept it was the way then, and I accept that what we're doing now is the way now.
So here's the thing, Dave. Now I'm going to completely dismantle this. I don't think the Attitude Era is the best way either. I don't think my childhood was the Attitude Era, personally. I don't think that's the best way either, and I don't think it's good to be stuck in any one way. And I agree with Dave there, but it's like, Dave, you're stuck in a decade, 15-year-old shit now. That's what you're stuck in, buddy. The 2010 New Japan shit, the clips that would go viral and stuff, that's come and gone. It played its course. Even in Japan, just the Japanese shit isn't as hot. New Japan's been in a lull. And these other feds are kind of rising up a little bit, like Noah and stuff. But it's like Dave saying this is the way now, but it's not the way now because this way's not working. 7 years ago, this way worked because Tone started AEW on the fucking tail end of the shit, and everybody got behind the revolution. Everybody got behind the billionaire that was going to put WWE on their back foot. For sure. But Dave, you're the out of touch. This is 13-year-old fucking New Japan shit you're trying to do in AEW. Literally, your fans are spurging out. Observer fans and AEW fans are melting down right now because AJ Styles isn't going to AEW. So what? You can see him do a worse version of the match he had with Ospreay because the way you wrestle there is just do everything instead of, oh, we get a Cena Punk one last time match and they're going to use psychology, and we know that they're going to put all of the tools they've learned mentally as well as physically into this matchup psychologically, and that's what's going to make it stand out from what they may have done in the past where Punk's jumping off ladders through fucking announce tables. You know what I'm saying? So what is AJ going to do when he wrestles Ospreay again, like people are clamoring for? It's fucking stupid. And Dave's stuck in the past and he doesn't get it. And this is what everyone's trying to point out. Like, no, at the beginning of the 2020s, people, it's starting to come back to like the Roman Reigns. Look at what Roman Reigns shit did. It was big names. It was a dominant fucking champion who dominated. It was very much story-based, working a shoot with the family being involved. And there was like the pandemic fucking era. We were just coming out of that. There weren't even full crowds, which again, that, you know, you could argue in the pandemic era, you had to fucking really figure out ways to get shit over when there's not a live crowd there. Like, you could argue that helped elevate Roman in a way to where it's like coming out of that, people wanted live events again. And he figured out, like, I got to be this fucking top guy and tell these stories. It got hot, man. This New Japan shit was fun at the start of AEW, the end of the decade. It was the 2010s. It was fun still. First couple years of AEW for sure. The pandemic hit, it kind of fucked AEW. They did some really bad shit during the pandemic time. No one talks about that either. But there was some really good stuff too. Now it's just 5 years behind the time. Like, we're 7 years deep. The first 2 years of AEW, I would say, were really good, really strong for the most part. You could look at their numbers and argue that as well. Maybe give them that third year as like, okay, it was a bit of a transitionary period. You also had fucking Punk come in, but here's the problem. When Punk came in, like, yeah, he was doing good shit. FTR and some of these guys were doing good shit, but we started getting into like, but there's half the show that's ass. Like, half is good and then half is just like ass and stuff that people are tired of seeing and like nonsensical shit. So you can give them that for a few years for sure. But if you really boil it down, like their first 2 years, the end of the decade and the start of the new decade, and then the last 5 years, people have kind of moved towards or away from, rather, because what has become more accessible, that New Japan style. People are moving away from it, dude. And it's just basically Ring of Honor and AEW. It's just Ring of Honor, man. It's what Ring of Honor used to be, except for way more pretentious. And it's like, if a million people, and if Ring of Honor was going to compete with WWE, they would have competed with WWE, and a million people would have watched Ring of Honor a decade ago. But it didn't, or 5 years ago. But they fucking weren't, dude. So Tone doesn't realize, it doesn't matter how deep your pockets are. You can't fill those fucking buildings unless you're going to stage an event like North Korea or something, Tone. You're not going to fill these buildings. So Dave is just, it's so funny just hearing him say like, oh, I mean, this is the way it works now. No, Dave, you were right at the first part. Times change. Oh, times they are a change, and things go cyclical as well. Like, now what works is, I would say, yes, are the matches like long 20-minute fucking, even in WWE, that people find uninteresting? Yes. But again, they're kind of just going back to the old school now. And like the feud over the beads and shit. Like, that's some territory shit if I ever heard it in my life. And it worked. It got so fucking over with Drew and Punk. Going old school and having a long drawn out feud between Rhodes and McIntyre. That fucking rules. People are crying about it. It's like, okay, Flair and fucking Dusty Rhodes, man. How would you have lasted? How would you guys have lasted when there was only, in the fucking 80s, when wrestling was crazy and there was like, how many pay-per-view? You got 2, like at the end of that decade, you'd get like fucking how many a year? 2 or whatever the fuck. Hulk Hogan would be beefing the same dude for a year. Like, how would people have survived back then? I don't know. But Tony Khan does this short booking. It's not working. And the style of wrestling is dated. It's the 2010 style shit. And Dave is sitting here trying to point out how people are behind the times while exposing he's behind the fucking times simultaneously. It's brilliant.
And I hate when the way now is downgraded, because the way then was downgraded the exact same way. And I lived through it. So I'm smart enough to see this. And some people, I think it's the simplest. I think this is the simplest thing in the world. And for whatever reason, I constantly get people who can't grasp it. And it's so simple.
What's so simple, Dave? It's just frustrating because it's the simplest thing. No, dude, you're just tart angry. Because you're behind the times. Everybody's moved past you, and you don't realize it because you're in a bubble and a bunch of clowns glaze you. And you and Tone interact with the sickoest of fucking accounts who just glaze you guys. And then you can't fathom when the times have passed you by. It's really all it is. And honestly, the times are, it's kind of old school. Is what I was trying to say before, like feuding over beads. That's the most like old school fucking thing that would have started a riot back in the fucking day. And we'd hear stories and go, oh my God, the heart punch caused a fucking riot back in the day. Now people get super kicked with exploding boots to the fucking face off a cage through glass. The simple shit and Dave, all the simple things. Dave, you're overcomplicating it. That's the fucking problem, dude. The simplest thing is you've been passed up and passed by again, and you don't realize it, which is I'm just trying to explain that to you, and everyone's just trying to explain that to you, and you don't get it. So Dave also talks about All In and how it won the best major wrestling show in the Observer Awards. And again, you look at this fucking poster, and there's just like 100 fucking things. This shit got overshadowed by Goldberg's retirement. This was the best wrestling show. Dave's melting down about the fucking attendance. Oh, they'll still say there's 60,000 there. At WrestleMania, they'll lie about it. What about this one, dude? That even your boy Thurston pointed out was one of the most papered shows in history. He doesn't talk about this shit. It's so fucking crazy. And that's somehow one of the most papered shows in history with like 18,000 people there or whatever. It's what a Raw does. And this is somehow the event of the year because what? The moves they did to each other. Just admit that part, you assholes. Stop pretending you're more nuanced and fucking... It's the art, the artistry that we understand better. It's none of that shit. It's fucking moves, dude.
Best major wrestling show, All in Texas, won. And then Double or Nothing was second. Stardom, All-Star Grand.
Oh my God, Double or Nothing. Then Stardom Queendom was number fucking 3, dude.
Fucking Mark!
How? How is that even humanly possible?
Queendom was third.
Yeah.
Oh my
it's
God.
People's opinions.
Yeah, that's because opinions. In your bubble, Dave. And he talks like it's an absolute. Everyone. It just is the proof of how diluted he is. How diluted he is. Both. You want to flip it, whichever, however you want to fucking cut it up. Cut it and strut it up. He's mental. He's wacky. He's gone mad. He's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. I mean, it's people's opinions.
People's opinions. No, it's your fucking opinion that a bunch of sycophants agreed with you on. Nobody watched that shit. It can't be the best in the world if people aren't making the fucking time to watch it. Period. Everyone has limited time, dude. You can't possibly watch all this wrestling. And if you do, you should be in a fucking padded room. So how is that? That's people's opinions. That's everyone's opinion. Holy.
For all those AEW shows being, I mean, the pay-per-views, they had so many good ones. Great ones, not good ones, great ones.
Great
I thought
ones.
it was
They
the best year
just
for
good,
any
they were
company
great.
for pay-per-view matches in history. As far as the best one, I mean, All In was the climax.
One of the greatest pay-per-view matches in history of wrestling pay-per-view. I don't know if you could chalk that up to any match the last 3 or 4 years in AEW. That their pay-per-view matches are some of the best. We've seen it all over and over again.
One. I think the one thing that I know that Tony Khan was very happy with was that almost every poll had one of his shows.
Oh my God. Almost every Wrestling Observer poll had one of his shows, and Tone called up Dave. That's what he's admitting here. I know this for sure. Tone was happy that in all of our polls, Tone had at least one thing. And Tony Khan called him up and was like, "Oh, Dave." Tone has Dave saved as dad in his phone. As daddy. And he called him up and was like, "Oh, I'm really thrilled with this. Great job on coaching your fucking readers on
the best guys, Tony Khan."
Whoa, dude. It's so incestuous and gross.
As the best show of the year. But it was 3 different shows. It was All In, it was Double or Nothing, and I think that there was another one.
He doesn't even know. The best shows all year. Kenny doesn't even remember what they are, and Stardom's up there.
Also must have won in some poll somewhere. So was an All-Star Queendom. But All-Star Queendom was a freaking great show with a great main event.
Because the moves that they did. And so again, Dave just shills for AEW, an account called literally AEW Bot. Bot AEW, an actual bot.
You know, poor people don't like AEW.
A self-admitted, a self-purported bot who goes, wow, pretty good numbers for Dynamite. Do you think we'll ever see the show hit 1 million again? And listen to what Dave's saying. The day cable is in 88.5 million homes, which is never. Although AEW is now available between streaming and cable in 99 million homes. So is he trying to say, is Dave trying to specify that on cable, if they're back in 88.5 million homes, then they could do 1 million viewers on just cable? And then he's like, AEW is now available between streaming and cable in 99 million homes. So then why wouldn't the answer be, yeah, they're in more homes now than they were before if you just chalk it up to the homes? Homes? What is he even talking about here? So cable was in more homes, and now AEW's in like 11 million more homes. But they can't hit 1 million? It's just these weird copes, these weird spins, these weird twistings of fuck, and then him going, well, you just don't understand this. No, it's trivial. You're saying dumb fuckery bullshit because streaming and the internet exists now, and it didn't before. Fuck, man. Times are just passing you by. So again, look at how Dave Meltzer covers this shit. Bryan last Wednesday, was the most watched Dynamite since, except actually Batman. Okay, it was the most watched Dynamite since the Big Data era on Wednesday, even against the Olympics. 692K, 0.12 and 18-49. I'll have more in the daily update, but already have one warning flag regarding 50 to 54. A warning flag. I got a warning flag that, it's going to be lower this week and it should be higher. Now Dave is playing with this 50 to 54 demo and all of this shit. Oh, I mean, that older demo, it doesn't make sense. It's a conspiracy because it doesn't fit into my narrative. And so I'm going to talk about how just that demo is flawed and none of this other shit is flawed when it looks good for us. But when it doesn't look good for us, the other numbers are a fraud too. If Nielsen's such a fraud, why does Dave talk about it? One of the most watched Dynamites, or it was the most watched Dynamite since Big Data era on Wednesday. NXT beat it. 692K. And they're just freaking out. Oh, the momentum. 1,000 people in attendance. 1,800 people in attendance. It's nutty. It's pretty fucking nutty. And I heard Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jeff Dye, they were talking about like how they heard rumors that, TKO, they're gouging because they fucking aren't getting their money's worth with WWE. Blah, blah, blah. And they recorded the episode, obviously, before the news came out of the revenue that WWE brought in. And they were shitting all over it. And then they're like, even with celebrities, like with WWE, I don't know. He's just breaking down how AEW is more like, what can you do? Will you do anything? He's like, WWE used to be like that when I worked there and stuff. And it's like Freddie Prinze needs to understand that when he worked there, nobody wanted to be involved in WWE. Some of the lowest points of WWE was in that fucking era until like Punk heated things up again. You know, the Shield and Wyatt family and Danielson and stuff, that kind of heated it up again. But there was a lull there for a little while. And like celebrities were forced to be a part of it to promote their movies. They'd guest GM Raw and shit, but they were all fucking forced to do it. Let's be honest. Most of them didn't give a fuck. Now it's handled differently in WWE because celebrities are hitting Triple H up. Why do you think he made that commercial? And this isn't being worked by a fucking commercial. Triple H talked about it publicly, and we know from all the celebrities who have publicly hit up WWE and all the football players who are tweeting and tagging WWE or talking about WWE. Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. All the celebrities and athletes want to be a part of WWE. It's cool again. So back then, Freddie, when you were in WWE, they fucking celebrities didn't want to be a part of it. It was a fucking joke. Some of the worst eras, okay? Yeah, you did some good shit with Jeff Hardy and stuff. That's awesome, but let's face it, that was in between like the sort of resurgence and after the Attitude Era cooled off and the Ruthless Aggression Era. It was the PG era, bro. So yes, WWE was desperate for celebrities to be involved. Same with AEW. They're desperate for celebrities to be involved, so they just want you to be involved any fucking way that you're willing to be involved. Even if you're Adam Devine or whatever, Adam Devine, and you're the guy from Pitch Perfect, and you jump in the ring and raise people's hands, and that's the extent of what you do. So it is unfortunate that wrestlers can't get tickets and all of these sorts of things for WrestleMania, and they got to go out of pocket. There are wrestlers who got to go out of pocket to get people to their big PLE matches and shit like that. I agree that they're nickel and dime in every inch and mile, but when it comes to like fucking what's hot and what isn't and what's a peak and celebrity involvement, and if this means, oh, the most watched fucking Dynamite, and oh, they're so cool, like TKO's regretting fucking investing in WWE, like, man, we got to stop with all this bullshit. They're making so much money. Everybody was shitting on WrestlePalooza. The numbers come out, and internationally it was like one of the biggest shows. It's fucking crazy. It might have been the biggest show last year internationally, if I'm not, like, other than I think the Rumble like crushed everything else. So I don't want to hear this shit, you know? And I like when you see the revenue come out, what the fuck? We're in the billions now. We're talking almost 2 billion they're bringing in. Like AEW's measly rating that they did a few years ago. Like if they put this number up a few years ago, people would be clowning it and going, this is not good. Now they have a little, and again, I'm not trying to take away from AEW. They put on a couple better shows for sure. This last Dynamite wasn't so good, but we need to see people stick around, and we need to see the ratings increase, or we need to see definitively that the max numbers are what they claim they are, because the attendances aren't showing it, you know, the fucking way they treat the fans. And again, man, when AEW went to Australia and shit, they gouged fans. They tried to gouge them. They're no better. If Tone was doing Saudi Arabia deals and could charge $8 billion for fucking tickets to All In, and if he could do what Raw does on Netflix numbers, he would be tap dancing and they would be all going, look, they're the best wrestling company, and there'd be no shitting on it. There'd be no fucking excuses. There'd be no coping over, oh man, AEW, can you believe that they're doing shows with the Saudis? Can you believe, look at these global numbers, they're super shitty. Can you believe that they're charging this much for tickets? Everyone would be going, man, they're the hot ticket. They're just better than WWE. WWE's too corporate, man. And you know this, and that's the fucking problem. Like Dave cheering for a 692. Meanwhile, if NXT does a 692, oh, they're way down and shit. Oh, they're not doing so hot. It's cooked. It's fucking cooked. But yeah, he just loves glazing AEW. It's a glazing. Dave is glazing. Dave is glazing. Dave is glazing. Who? Dave is glazing. I don't know. So Dave talks a little bit about them going head to head as we transition into WWE talk and lies. Meltzer, on a mailbag question, one of Dave's mutant subscribers, shout out Meltzer said what, asked if the WWE Clash in Italy on sale date being a week before AEW All in London was to hurt AEW ticket sales. And you wonder why we get these results. You cannot cure this level of brain rot. So here is Dave Meltzer talking about Clash in Italy versus All in London. I cannot wait to hear this clip and react to it. And let's see what he's got to say. And let's see if his tunes change from 2025, where he's like, WWE learned their lesson. And then immediately 26 starts and they're just fucking going head to head. And now there's rumors that this Italy show is going to hurt this UK show and all this stuff. Let's listen.
This person here says, in your latest issue, having events clashing with WWE seemed to be their tactic to harm them. Last year, this is WWE and AEW. Doesn't seem to be unnoticeable that the Clash in Italy on sale date is a week before All In. Is this going to be their tactic from now on, or just a coincidence? Meaning on sale dates.
How would Dave know? Is this going to be their imagine you're such a fucking Mark sicko that you write that question into this fucking
Mark!
Because you know they're asking Dave, and Dave is responding like a king, and this is the authority. Read thy scrolls and thy decree. I decree they will do it. They think it's like insider info instead of just his opinion on if they'll keep doing it. He just asked definitively, is this their plan going forward? Instead of, Dave, do you think they should do that? What do you think about this? Have you heard anything? Is this the plan going forward? Dave's going to give a definitive answer or what? Like he fucking would know even. Like,
right before
so stupid.
AEW on sale date.
Well, it's Italy and England. It's not exactly the same market.
Not exactly the same market.
The usual
those Brits and their pizza. I mean, they really enjoy pizza and spaghetti, Brian, but it's not really, it's not really the same thing.
Ask a question, is it a coincidence? It almost never is, because these things are very strategically done. But I don't know in this case necessarily, because, again, it's an Italy show versus a UK show. I know some people from Italy are going to come to the UK, and probably some UK people might go to Italy, but
so Dave goes, yeah, I know people from Italy. Who, Dave? What are their names? The Mario brothers. One of their names is Yoshi and Luigi. They're and Princess Toadstool and Wario, Brian. So he knows people from Italy who are gonna go to the UK All In show. But listen to how he phrases it. And I know, like, maybe a couple. There's like one or two people from the UK that'll go to Italy. Listen to this
UK show. But I don't know in this case necessarily, because, again, it's an Italy show versus a UK show. I know some people from Italy are going to come to the UK, and probably some UK people might go to Italy. But
probably some UK might go to Italy. I think it's way more likely that people in the UK will fucking travel to Italy. I know people definitively from Italy that are going to go to the UK, but I'm sure some will come over, Brian, from the UK to Italy. It's like, shut up, man.
It's still different countries. Now, if they go and do a show, I mean, there's obviously been rumors of a big show in Cardiff, in August. If they actually do that, that obviously is not a coincidence.
All right, everybody.
So it's not a coincidence then, because wouldn't the Cardiff show build up to the... Like, they're going to tour Europe on the lead up to the Italy show, more than likely. Do a couple shows around Europe like they've been doing. And so... Yeah, if they do a Cardiff show, they fucking should. They fucking should. Listen to the disappointment in Dave's fucking voice as he has to say, yeah, I mean, it'll probably be a shot at them. So earlier in the show, and I fucked up because I missed this clip, which I wanted to play earlier in the show. And here's Bryan Alvarez again, talking shit on NXT. As chat pointed out, he said it was a great show, but then he's overall saying this would have been better earlier if you just fucking listen to me and stuff. And he was shitting on speed and whatnot. So he's still just being a faux outraged little bitch about this. And I meant to play this earlier as we talk about the Observer on WWE for the last chunk of this show before exposing one of Dave's great lies, one of the funniest ones that I don't think gets as much hype as it should. Maybe it is now, but here is Bryan again coping over NXT.
NXT was a really good show. I was so irritated when the show was over.
It was a really good show. I was irritated. You know what I'm saying? So it's a really good show, but you're fucking irritated. Why?
Ranted about
be happy, you old miserable baggy-eyed bastard.
How bad this show was.
I know you're short. I know it's tough. You need a stool to reach cupboards and your toothbrush and things. I get it, Bri. But don't take it out on NXT. They did everything you asked them to do. It's still not good enough.
Like 8 months.
You're like a woman.
I ranted and raved every single week about how bad this show was. And over the last 3-4 weeks, I've seen vindication. For example, NXT won worst show in the Observer Awards. And then you'll never guess what happened last night. 3 title changes on the show. When it was over, I just sat there and I thought, man, this all could have been avoided if you hadn't had your head up your ass for
what? What's avoided? 3 title changes. Can you believe that? Fucking Dynamite just did 2 fucking title changes, and you weren't crying about it, buddy. And they did 2 on the same show, and you were all talking about how great of a Dynamite it was. Like, they just shook it up. There's nothing to avoid. I don't know what to tell you.
Last year. We got to write out this long-ass storyline.
There was nothing to avoid. So getting Oba and Javon Evans and shit over, you should have avoided all that, spending all that time getting Ethan Page super over, and just switched all the titles for Bri, and then everyone can go and not be a star on the main roster. I guess that's what Bryan wanted.
And we're just going to go with whatever we want to do. Come hell or high water. Someone else gets over, it doesn't matter. Sammy gets over in Montreal, nah, we got a plan. And it's like they just go with it, and they miss all of these.
Sammy gets over in Montreal, and we should have put the belt on him instead of kept it on fucking Roman. These retards are still hung up on this. On Sammy should have won that one time. No, he shouldn't have. That's already been proven. The Mania that drew the biggest fucking gate ever wouldn't have did that if Sammy won in Montreal. Oh, they missed out on a fucking to give a hometown guy a win because you guys are fucking dinosaurs. You guys are fucking dinosaurs. Just because they're in Montreal, and the crowd was behind the hometown guy, and then, give Sammy the win. Oh, man, more of the crowd at the Olympics were cheering for Team Canada. So, USA, man, they shouldn't have won that fucking medal. Like, imagine saying some dumb shit like that. It's so fucking stupid.
Opportunities. Like, you got handed Javon on a silver platter. You dropped the ball.
They handed him on a silver platter. They dropped the ball with Javon. Do you see why I don't give Bryan the benefit of the fucking doubt? Well, you said NXT was a great show. Yeah, then he shit on it. Then he just shit on it for no reason. It's fucking stupid. These guys are mentally ill. They dropped the ball on Javon by getting him really over, and now he's really over on the main roster. And he's about to do crazy ass shit in the chamber, and everybody's mostly excited that Javon's in the chamber. And they dropped the ball on him. He's having matches with the top guys and having fucking with the mid-lower guys getting wins and having fantastic matches with them. That you think Dave would be coming his pants over and Bryan would be coming his pants over. They dropped the ball by keeping him in there and getting his reps in. And again, Bryan's too stupid. I pointed this out on the Member Monday show. Javon has size, and the brilliance of them keeping Javon in NXT for so long is you can tell he's really comfortable and he knows how to work. Well, just throw him in there, make him world champion. No, stupid. It's about longevity. And one day Javon is not going to, he's not even grown man. He's not even 30 years old yet. He's not even filled out as a man yet. He's not even grown man size yet, fully. And he's a big kid. One day he's not going to be diving over the top rope. One day he's not going to be able to do that. And it's going to rely on the work and psychology and the fucking foundation that was built. They built such a strong foundation that the fucking house will not fall. Bryan's like, oh, just quickly rush through it. Yeah, put some boards down, put a fucking... quickly stuff some newspapers in the walls, and let's get to the top. I want my master bedroom cooked up real quick. I want a view of the town. And then your fucking house collapses because you're a dumbass.
You got handed Jada Parker.
You got handed Jada Parker. Like they didn't develop Jada Parker. Like they didn't help develop Javon. So Tone was handed Jay Malachi, or whatever his name was. And Javon would be where he is now if he had stayed the course in AEW, because it's just a handed. You got handed. You lucked into Obafemi, is what Dave was saying. So I don't give Bryan a fucking pass. Fuck Bryan.
A silver platter. You dropped the ball. You got handed Thea Hale on a silver platter. You dropped the ball. You got handed like one after another in 2025. Handed to you. Here you go. And drop the ball, drop the ball, drop the ball, drop the ball. I'm sure they had a plan.
So they dropped the ball with Thea fucking Hale, dude, who is over in Chase U. And then really no one cares anymore. You got handed it on a silver platter. So none of their booking, nothing they did to put matches in place that you then saw on TV. And then Bryan makes the assertion, oh, you were handed this thing. So none of the shit they did on TV, Bryan, put anyone in a position, none of their planning, preparation, training, coaching, none of those things factored into getting into this position to where you, in hindsight, go, you were handed this thing that we all saw on TV for the last few months where this person got really over. And you didn't capitalize on it. So what do you want them to do? Just, oh, they got over in front of the NXT crowd. Quick, throw them on Raw and get them the Intercontinental title. So you just want to rush them into shit? Not even identifying that Raw and SmackDown crowds don't give a fuck about NXT people all the time, as we've seen numerous times, and you have to put work into the main roster for the most part to get fucking over with them. Just ask Roxanne, ask Lyra, ask Julia. Ask Kiana James. They fucking ruled. You can tell me Julia wasn't over in NXT? They fucking rule. It's crazy. This is actually like brain rot, mental illness.
Oh, Javon's going to get his big win at Stand and Deliver 2026. Oh, yeah? Well, you know what? Somebody saw him once, and they were like, we got to get this guy on the main roster. And here we are. Yeah, well, you're good job on that plan. When it's time,
Bryan's like, I saw him once and I was like, get him in the main roster and I'm right and everyone else is stupid. Dude, your brain's not even fully developed, Bryan. So I understand that fucking you don't understand development. Okay? Well, he doesn't need to be developed. We saw him once and he could do that flying cutter. Why didn't you make it as a pro wrestler then, asshole? What's going on with you? If you can just see it and assess it and go, this is what's good, this is what isn't, and this is what's ready for the big times, and this what isn't. You couldn't even get yourself over, Bryan. Shut the fuck up. It's about learning how to work in front of a television camera, learning how to work a certain style, learning how to pace yourself, facing adversity. You're a young guy. Fucking Buddy tweaks his ankle in a match. How do we improv and get out of this? How do we fucking... Here's some shit I did in NXT where Buddy gorilla pressed me and threw me over the fucking ropes into the announce table. We'll redo that spot on the main roster at some point. Let's build a foundation. We did this $50 million deal with the CW. Oh, look, these kids are getting over. Yeah, well, they're getting over, so fuck you guys. Peace out. Or was he pivotal in kicking Dynamite's ass for a long time? And you're just fucking dumb as fuck. oh, this is a great NXT. They did everything I asked them to do. Still not good enough for me. That's how you know this is fake and phony. And he's just a piece of shit.
You got to pull
Bryan's
the trigger.
a piece of shit.
And they just screwed it up all year long. And now they're scrambling. Damage control videos. Let's put these titles on young guys right now. 3 in one show. It's like, whatever. I like the show. Hopefully.
Now they're scrambling. Scrambling to what? They did call-ups. It's not a scramble.
Hopefully they figure things out.
They have it figured out. You just said it was a good show. So is that not figuring it out? Maybe they've had it figured out the whole time. And you're just dumb.
Now,
and
we
short.
can, move on with a good NXT show.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think you're just bitter. There's no cruiserweight division anymore because you're a fucking little shorty pie. It's just that short dude anger. You know what I'm saying? So Dave Meltzer and Bry talk a little bit, and they spurg out again over Rey Mysterio being called the biggest luchador since El Santo. And they got triggered over this. We covered it a long time ago. They got triggered when Michael Cole said that Rey Mysterio is the most famous luchador of all time, like on TV or whatever. Or when Wade Barrett's explaining in kayfabe how they got to a triple threat match. And then Dave and them are like, oh, that's not what happened. And it's like, yeah, it's a fake TV show. You know, they're just getting their fucking guy over. You just say, Ray's the most famous luchador on your television show. It's called promoting. It's like Andre the Giant. They would make him look taller. He'd stand on a phone book or a milk crate or whatever to look just that much taller. It's like you announce people's height and weight a little bigger. Back in the day, it's just fucking, come on. You guys should know this. You're claimed to be these brilliant, all-seeing eyes of pro wrestling, right? And apparently when Alvarez, I see it, and I see it, and you should push him right away. No awareness or no insight on hey, you have to promote people to get them over. Zero even thought put towards that it might take time to promote Javon Evans. So WWE here again, promoting Rey Mysterio as the biggest luchador of all time, which a lot of people in the modern era would probably argue that. They don't know what the fuck El Santo is from 100 years ago. Just like Dave, you're a fucking outdated old dinosaur. I know you were alive when they're in fucking fighting off saber-toothed tigers and shit like this. Dave Meltzer, I know you're a 1,000-year-old dinosaur that's been resurrected like the fucking Jeepers Creepers guy. Right? But yeah, a lot of people would say Rey Mysterio is the biggest star or is the biggest lucha star of all time, whatever, but they just get triggered by this shit and they have no understanding of this is a WWE podcast on their channel partnered with Fanatics, and they're just getting Rey Mysterio over. That's the whole point of these fucking pods. The whole point of Royce Keys going on Stephanie McMahon's pod is to give you insight and give WWE help get this guy over. And of course, you're going to bring Ray on and call him the greatest luchador of all time. Ray puts on his tights, greatest luchador of all time. It's his fucking shtick. More people know who Rey Mysterio is now than El Santo. 50 years ago, sure, Dave, that wasn't the case. This isn't when my grandma was born, right? This is now in 2026. So again,
Cody says that, Ray has now surpassed El Santo and he's the greatest luchador, biggest luchador star in the world, worldwide. Santo's movies went all over the world. Santo is so much of a bigger, Ray.
He isn't now, Dave. He isn't now. I'm an El Santo mark, by the way. Okay. I am. But he is not now. Period. Okay? Rey Mysterio's mainstream now. So if they say of all time or he's the biggest lucha in the world right now, that's a fact. El Santo's not right now. 35 years ago, maybe you could argue El Santo still was. If you want to talk all time. Okay? But there was one point in time where Vampiro, the Canadian fucking Misfits guy it looks like he's from the fucking band The Misfits, was the biggest lucha in the world. Okay, so Conan was fucking up there at one point. Okay, so if you want to talk all time, yes, El Santo, you could debate. I would argue he was of all time. If you want to talk right now, who's the biggest lucha? It's fucking Rey Mysterio.
He was never even the top guy in WWE. I mean, he was always.
Now he's saying Ray wasn't the top guy in WWE.
Bigger, you know, Ray was never even the top guy in WWE.
Oh man! So there wasn't any point where Ray was making more money off his fucking masks, or like, let's say there was Cena and then Ray's like number 2 right behind him. Is that not the tippy top? Well, technically, if it's number 2, it's not the top. You were just glazing the fucking 3rd-rated Wrestling Observer Stardom show, Dave. For fuck's sakes.
I mean, he was always kind of in that mid thing. Probably should have gotten
mid thing. He's the world champion, Dave. He was by far, there was a point where he was the most popular superstar in the company. There was definitely a point where it was like Ray, probably like Edge, Orton, Cena, like it was right. Maybe Batista was there, but that's like saying fucking Triple H wasn't a top guy because there was also Austin and The Rock and Undertaker. It's like, no, he fucking was the top guy a bunch of times and was definitely the coolest shit a bunch of times on the show.
With bigger push than he did.
Fuck.
Who would you compare Santo to in the U.S. as far as like the global star that everybody would know?
A cross between Abraham Lincoln and John Wayne. That range.
Yeah, so like it's not even close, really.
Santo is probably in Mexican culture, you know, somewhere between, depending on the poll, the number 4 to the number 13.
Can I just be honest, though? Like, Dave likes to talk about tourism and all this shit. So let me tell you guys something. I went to Mexico, right? Not so long ago. And I went shopping for lucha masks. I looked around. And all they had was like Mystico and Rey Mysterio. There weren't fucking El Santo masks. Now, were there pictures of him up in places and stuff? Absolutely. But he's just talking. He's like, you know, El Santo, people know his name like Abraham Lincoln. In Mexico, maybe, dude. On a if you go to Australia, if you go to Japan, if you go to America in 2026, way more people are going to know what Rey Mysterio is than El Santo. I'm sorry. All these places, Canada, I'm not saying Mexico, but the majority of countries across the world, Africa, which is a country according to Elbu of Wrestle Paris. You go to the country of Africa and they probably know Rey Mysterio more than El Santo, but I don't know. Dave pretends like Mexico means the entire globe.
Most
26.
famous cultural icon in the history of the country. That includes generals and presidents and movie stars and everything. You know,
that's true. But if you go to Mexico, everyone knows Hulk Hogan. And if you go to America, everyone knows Hulk Hogan. And you go to fucking South Africa. Is that one a country, Elbu? Let me know. You go to South Africa, you go wherever in the world, the UK, and everyone will know Hulk Hogan. So yes, in Mexico. Now, all over the world, did people know El Santo? Yeah, 50 fucking years ago. And even that was 50, even that was 30 years removed from his fucking, or whatever, you know, like when he was done wrestling or whatever. So,
you know, I mean, he's so far above Hulk Hogan, you know, in the United States that it's not even a comparison. It's like, I don't think people don't get like how big, you know, Ricky Dozan, even Inoki, but Ricky Dozan.
People get it. It was just a long time ago.
Santo were. And they think, oh yeah, you know, like, you know, they couldn't have been bigger than Hogan. And it's like, you just don't
know. Globally, everybody in Japan who knew Antonio Inoki also knew Hulk Hogan. And then you go to America and okay, so everyone who knew Ricky Dozan knew Hulk Hogan. And then if you went to America, they all knew Hulk Hogan. But if you said Ricky Dozan, a lot of them wouldn't know. And that's the same if you went to Canada or the UK. Or, yes, they were big stars. But it's like you just don't get it if you compare it to Hogan. The biggest star that wrestling's ever fucking, like, come on, man. It's mental illness, and all Rhodes said was that he's the biggest lucha star in the world right now. I don't even think they said of all time. Said, you're the biggest luchador in the world. Ray is right now.
You just don't get culture.
You just don't get culture. Dave Meltzer, the guy who called Bad Bunny an ethnic celebrity, American citizen Bad Bunny, called him an ethnic celebrity and said people don't know who the fuck he is when he wrestled for WWE. And Dave is talking about culture. Holy man, this guy's the most out of touch fuck boy I've ever seen.
And yeah, there's places like today. Yeah, of course he's more famous. People like Google search of El Santo and Rey Mysterio in 2026. Of course, it's going to be Rey Mysterio.
Yes. So that's all Cody Rhodes was saying. Because they're promoting him because they're in the same company together, Dave. What is wrong with you, man? So Dave talks more about WWE and he shits on Rusev. So not only is he shitting on Rey Mysterio, but he also takes time to take a shit on Rusev. And this is the same clip here, I believe. Perhaps Meltzer posted an extension of what Dave said. We'll check in. But he, again, is just melting down because Rusev said he wanted to wrestle more. And, it's bullshit in AEW, blah, blah, blah. You would have fucking got to wrestle more and be a top guy there, but you just didn't want to wrestle. And again, how would he know that? How would he be privy to that info unless Tone's calling him on the phone and stooging all this shit?
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Super annoying when Dave does this.
Rusev did an interview a couple of days ago where he said, like, the reason he left AEW is because he wanted to wrestle more matches than they would let him. And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you're going to say that? I mean, it's like, you could say that months ago, but to say that now when you're basically, I think you're never wrestling.
Yeah, he's getting ready to face Obafemi. And he isn't wrestling a whole lot. Dave also doesn't know what's going on with Rusev. And his initiative over the next year and a half is to help get guys over and shit like that.
And, the whole problem he had in AEW was that he didn't want to lose, and
that's just the made up added part. Tone's like, he doesn't want to lose to Orange Cassidy. I don't know what to do. Yeah, he'll lose to Obafemi. It's not that he didn't want to lose. It's that he didn't want to lose to the fucking people that Tony Khan was trying to make him lose to.
So they just stopped booking him, and all he does in WWE is lose. I mean,
he does is lose. So he didn't get some wins when he first came back. And yeah, he's lost. Big whoop. Who gives a fuck? Like, it's such dumb shit. I want to see Rusev work Hobbs again, though, in WWE.
It's sad in a way. The thing is with Tony.
What's sad? This is the problem. Like, why bury Rusev? You guys don't want him in your company. You don't want him in your company. Oh, he said in an interview he just wants to wrestle more, and that's why he came back to WWE, and it's a lie, and it's sad that he got paid this money in a 2-year deal to come back and fucking work with the next generation and actually get them over. How come, like, CM Punk, Rusev, Cody Rhodes, they all see the development, William Regal, they all see the quote-unquote development of talent. They all see the young guys in AEW. They all get a rude awakening and go, yeah, this is fucked. They're about to fuck this next generation up. How come they all come to that realization? And they all just don't want to lose. And Andrade didn't want to lose. You remember that? He just is there until he can go back to WWE. Aleister Black. There's problems with him and his back's hurt and he just doesn't want to lose. And he's just waiting until he can go back to the Fed. So Dave, he just smears all these fucking guys. Tone would have made you a bigger star. No, he fucking wouldn't have.
This is like, you can negotiate with him up to a point, but there's like a certain point that you can't cross. And when you cross that point, he's just not going to book you. And nor should he. This is not on him. But I mean, like,
of course it isn't on him. Of course it isn't.
Like, especially if you're a guy who is a star, you're gonna have like leverage. You're gonna have more than you're gonna have in WWE on him if you work hard.
You're gonna have more leverage if you're a star. So if you come over from WWE, you're gonna have more leverage on Tony Khan if you like. but he's not a fucking money mark. So hey, Rusev, you can get leverage on if you get wins or not, but clearly that wasn't the case. Clearly you don't get leverage on if you get wins and whatnot, because otherwise he'd be there fucking picking who he wanted to beat or whatever the fuck Dave's insinuating here. But now you're just stooging on tone, and it's like people come in and they're not using that leverage to just work part-time and go to fucking Capcom events whenever they want. And Mark, he's not a money mark, but you can use leverage to fucking, so people aren't doing that to mark money out of him, to work him out of money. They're not going to use leverage to do that. Everything else, though, to win matches and shit. Dave is just such an
best guy is Tony Khan.
Just inconsistent in his assessment of everything.
And, you pick your spots and say, man, I don't want to lose to this guy. But if it's a top guy.
But if it's a top guy, Dave, no one's a top guy in AEW. Rusev wasn't being asked to lose to MJF and shit. And you're also pretending like Rusev didn't lose matches. Didn't he lose to Will Hobbs? Will Hobbs was not a top guy. Rusev lost to Hobbs, didn't he? Did Will Hobbs beat Miro AEW? I'm pretty sure Hobbs beat him. No, he didn't. Miro beat him. God damn. So let's look this up. Who did Miro lose to in AEW? Let's look it up. Let's fact check. Miro AEW record. So he had 4 losses. Is this accurate, though? Because it says top 10 opponents in AEW. AEWresults.com. Wrestler, Miro. He wrestled Cassidy 4 fucking times and didn't want to lose to Cassidy. Look at the people they had him wrestling. Orange Cassidy, Fuego del Sol, Chuck Taylor, Lee Johnson, Baron Black, Sonny Kiss, Andrade El Idolo, Daniel Garcia, Action Andretti, Powerhouse Hobbs. And Miro was supposed to be a top guy, and those are top guys.
Oh my God.
Holy
that's the greatest
fuck,
thing I've ever
man.
seen.
We just caught Dave in one of the worst cope sessions.
For, the
of
young
his life.
superstar, babyface, the former heel, former heel thing. So.
Oh my God, dude. Miro wrestled. Let me read it again. He wrestled, and let me read some of the numbers. Orange Cassidy 4 times. Hey, this is AEWresults.com. So if any of this is inaccurate, blame them. This is on the Miro page. Orange Cassidy 4 times. Fuego del Sol 3 times. Chuck Taylor 3 times. Lee Johnson 2 times. Baron Black 2 times. Andrade El Idolo, or Sonny Kiss, 2 times. Andrade El Idolo 1 time. Daniel Garcia once, Andretti once, Hobbs once. Those are his top 10 opponents in AEW. And before we get to the bottom of the list, it's 1 time that he wrestled these guys. So who in that list, Dave, is a top fucking guy? Oh, Andrade during his first run when you were burying him too, and his gimmick was, I'm the fucking guy who bought this group of jobbers from Matt Hardy or whatever. So he was refusing to put over these top guys, Fuego del Sol and Chuck Taylor and Lee Johnson. Who of those guys are top guys he should have put over? The only one he should have put over is Hobbs. And even then, Hobbs is on the come up. He lost to Punk. He lost to fucking Rusev. His time came. Now he's throwing world champions out of the fucking Rumble. So who is he supposed to lose to? Daniel Garcia? And it's literally what I say on this show. Who is he supposed to job to? Action Andretti? Sonny Kiss, dude? Baron Black? Who the fuck is Baron Black? Isn't that a 2K My Rise character? Baron Black. Wrestling. Who? Doesn't even have a wiki. Doesn't even have a fucking Wikipedia, bud. And those are the top guys he's supposed to put over. And Dave's saying that it's sad, Rusev's just sad. He's lying here. Dave,
Dummy.
you're fucking cooked, man. He's cooked.
Liar!
Then you can't say no, because if you do that, then it's just like,
But if it's the top guys, Chuck Taylor, you can't say no to losing to him twice.
That's
you got to pick your spots against Cassidy and Fuego del Sol and Action Andretti. Better make sure you pick your spots. What a fucking fraud.
The thing happens. And so, that didn't happen, and he left. These guys aren't going to say that to Levesque.
And are people pointing out that he lost twice to Guevara? So he put Guevara over. One of the 4 pillars, allegedly, who's nowhere to be found. So he did lose twice to a guy he thought he could make. And that's not even a top guy. So you mean Rusev put over a guy that people were trying to tout as the future and is going to be a top guy? And then fucking they booked him shitty, so Rusev was like, oh, I shouldn't fucking do that because wowza, Dave. Too bad he didn't put over Chuck Taylor. The top guy, Chuck Taylor.
They tried to take advantage of Tony. They don't respect
He took
him
advantage
like
of
they
Tony
respect-
because he refused to lose to Fuego del Sol, who he wrestled 3 times.
Levesque, and
yeah, that's why I don't think it's sad.
Well,
why he doesn't think it's sad. This is sad. This is fucking super sad. You two bums are sad as fuck. And you're short.
What goes around comes around.
What goes around comes around. Hey, I want to put people over. I'll put Guevara over, a young Latino man who's on the come up, who everyone's saying's the future. I'll put him over. Then fucking shit doesn't pan out. Rusev would have been a massive star. All he had to do was agree to put over Fuego del Sol and Garcia and Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. And then he goes to WWE and he puts over Dom, and look at how they treat Dom. A young Latino man on the come up who everybody's saying is the future. Huh. I think that's what went around and came around. He went and did the job for Dominic, and they actually are using shit like that to build Dominic up. Guevara is a no-namer, jobber, glorified indie guy who fucking botched a bunch like all the time and hurt people and hurt himself, and he's just in Ring of Honor doing nothing unless Dustin Rhodes gets booked. What goes around comes around. Yeah, to you assholes. What Rusev did with Dom is a big middle finger right up your guys' asses.
It's
oh man, this one hurt me.
I tell you what, that fake Seth Rollins injury, God just got on their case for that.
Oh my God, don't bring our Lord and Savior into your fucking mess, Dave.
Shut up, bitch.
Do not bring Jesus H. Christ and all that is holy into your fucking mess, you piece of shit. Fuck you.
Would you please shut the hell up?
So God smited them because Rusev didn't put over Action Andretti. God smited Seth Rollins because they talked about a worked angle on a worked reality show. And now it's God delivering sweet karma in Dave's corner. God and Jesus, notoriously fans of grifters who peddle fucking bullshit schemes and lie to people. Yeah, they're big fans of that. In Dave's corner and Bry's corner, smiting Seth Rollins because they did a reality TV show and because Miro wouldn't put over Baron Black.
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
This is unbridled cope, chat and commenters. This is unbridled cope.
It's just a stupid wrestling angle. My God.
This is a cursed group.
Over a stupid wrestling angle. Because it worked, you guys. And the IWC made fun of you. It was a stupid wrestling angle, even though everyone popped for it. And everyone went nuts. And then now you're like, see, Seth really got hurt. Okay, so I'm going to do a gimmick where I'm the Undertaker and I'm a zombie risen from the dead. And then I'm going to actually get murdered and be a dead guy. Haha, see, that's karma because you did a fake thing on a TV show. Hey, I'm Bryan Cranston and I play this drug dealer. And then in real life, I got shot by gangsters in New Mexico for dealing meth. Haha, sweet karma. It's a fake fucking TV show with athletics involved. Like, how is that a laughable? It's like, you're such a piece of shit. You're a schmarmy cunt. Fuck.
This point, I've had that mentioned many times.
Yeah, they need to put that freaking Austin Theory in bubble wrap and keep Logan Paul out of the ring because God is after them next.
God is after them. Dude. This is haram.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flu.
This is a sin. The power of Christ compels you, Dave. Do not bring the Lord into this. Yeah, I mean, God wants to smite WWE. I mean, he's still pissed when Vince pinned him.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
I mean, he's still mad at Vince when Vince beat God in that one match. I mean, he's mad at me because of the star ratings I gave it to. So God hates WWE, guys. I should have put that in the title of this episode. Because I actually can't rack my brain around it, Brian. That's like uncanny levels of fucking cope. Let's see if this is the same clip. Yeah, this is God is.
And when you cross that point, he's just not going to book you. And the thing happens, Tony, and, they don't respect him. Like they respect Levesque and
yeah, and then also we skipped over the part where he's like, well, I didn't skip over it. I was just fucking jaw hitting the floor, baffled at that last clip. But we skimmed over this part where Dave says, like, they respect Levesque, but they don't respect Tony. Like, they respect Levesque. Yeah, gee, man, all these wrestlers respect a guy who was in one of the hottest factions in the history of pro wrestling, was the guy right underneath all the top guys. You could put the world title on him anytime. He'd get the job done. Triple H actually took bumps, actually sacrificed his body, dedicated his life and time to pro wrestling, had some of the best theme songs, one of the coolest entrances, one of the best physiques for a long time, helped get guys like Batista and Randy Orton over, helped breathe new life into Ric Flair's career, a guy who fucking was a part of DX, a guy who had great feuds with fucking Shawn Michaels and shit. The reign of Triple H terror. People look back and they hate on it. It was good stuff. Okay. Was all of it the best ever in the history of no, like he did stuff with Scott Steiner, but you could accuse Triple H of sandbagging those WCW guys. Did he pin Sting and that was bullshit? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, man, it's Triple fucking H. And all of these young wrestlers are a fan of him. And they don't like that. Io Sky says Triple H is one of her all-time favorite wrestlers. And Blake Monroe, when she was a teenager, she was posting about Triple H on social media and shit. Wrestlers people respect him. Athletes, celebrities, they fucking love Triple H. We all grew up doing the suck ed and all that shit. In school, we were all getting in trouble for it. That's Triple H, dude. Some people argue that the version of DX with X-Pac and the New Age Outlaws in it was better than the version of DX with Shawn Michaels and Triple H in it as well. And both versions worked. Right? He didn't get there as a fluke. Say what you will about Triple H. Is he bad in ring? No one could say that. No one could ever sit there and go, Triple H doesn't throw a fucking awesome working punch. He fucking sells his ass off. He was always in shape. He battled through fucking injuries. He was always there to be the guy that I'm teaming up with Rikishi when we're trying to get Rikishi over. Triple H steps back and is his flunky. So they can try Rikishi versus Stone Cold and it doesn't work out. And then Triple H steps up. Anytime The Rock and fucking Stone Cold weren't there, who stepped up, man? To be that guy, to play with Kurt Angle and Undertaker and all these other guys. There's Triple H, man. And to play with The Rock and fucking The Rock and Triple H had a great like mid-upper feud on their way up as well. The Nation versus DX. Come on, man. That stuff fucking ruled. So they respect that man, Triple H, over Tony Khan, who had, this is the faction Tony Khan was in. Ready? He was in a message board faction on Dave's message board and was writing reviews and shit and talking with grown men as a fucking teenager, marking out over Dave Meltzer and running message board communities on like nodq.com and the fucking, that's what Tony Khan was doing. And they respect, that's the equivalent of an AEW Twitter sicko today. And the wrestlers respect the guy who actually went out there and did it over fucking Tony Khan. And you're somehow shocked by that. Why? Because his dad gave him money. That doesn't make you respectable. In what world does that, Tony Khan? In what world has that ever made anyone respectable? In what world? In what world is just being born into a bunch of cash with a silver spoon up your ass? Is that respectable? You got to earn that shit, son. Craziness, man. So speaking of craziness, here is Dave Meltzer coping and mauling over AJ Styles deciding to stay in WWE, and there's everyone's miserable, Brett. They're miserable, and that's why. Can we restart that? Nah, kid, we're live. Can we redo that one? Nah, we're live. It's live TV. Oh, shit. But people are melting down because, you know, AJ, he's not going to AEW. And they're like, oh, and even JD, I'm over here now. His take is just god awful. They paid him. He was paid in the shade. And he's almost making it seem like his take is that AJ essentially was just compelled by money to stay, which if that was the case, buddy, and he wasn't just ready to hang it up, which seems more than likely the case, he would have went to AEW because that's where the fucking payoff is. Let's be honest. Okay. Like if he went to AEW, he could get way more money than WWE's probably giving him. And he'll actually have to put in work to developing the young talent. And AEW, Tone will just let him do movies and sit at home if he wants, and then come and just wrestle matches and win if he wants to and do as many flips as he wants. So the bigger payday would have been AEW. And that's what Dave says about every other situation. But then now, and I know I'm talking about JD, but again, Dave's sort of copping out and, oh, I mean, the Hall of Fame, this fake Hall of Fame is enough to, like, come on, man. He's just loyal to WWE. He sees the writing on the wall like everybody else does. He understands that his wife needs him right now. And he's put his time into this fucking business. There's nothing else AJ's gonna do. Oh, go be with the Good Brothers. Shut out Lincoln Hawk. Not hating on you, my brother. But go and be with the Good Brothers in TNA. Why? Pourquoi? Why, dude? He's done. Go hang out with your kids. Hang out with your beautiful wife. Play vidges. He's probably got a bunch of vidge games to catch up on. Go play your vidges, right? Do some streaming. Do the Good Brothers pod. Carl Anderson even profusely apologized. He's like, I put it out there that I think you'd want to go do other shit, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that out there. And he's going to coach kids in the back and just chill and lay in the cut for a while and leave the future a better place, make the future of pro wrestling a better place instead of being selfish and just taking all the fucking monies. But they're like, man, he got paid big time and shit. Did he though? Is that the contributing factor? Is that the motive? I get it works if you want people to click on your video and shit, and that's fine. I'm not hating on that. I'm not hating the game. I'm not hating the player, I guess. I'm hating the game a little bit. How it's like, I don't know if the money thing is a factor for him or he'd be working for Tone right now. But anyways, let's listen to fucking Dave in this short this short king over here, Bryan Alvarez.
AJ Styles update. Carl Anderson was talking about him on the podcast, and he said AJ told him, dude, I have to retire. My neck is hurting too bad. I'm beat up. It's time.
Yeah, JD's back with Hogg, and they're allowing him to work. And again, Tone punished him. Now he's in line. What did they do with all the media? What did Tone do with Ariel Helwani? He talks shit about me. Smear campaigns come out about how Ariel's in everyone's pocket. What happens? Ariel says some nice things. Tone goes, okay, I'll come back on your show if you say nice things. He co-ops the media. He punished JD. I can control your job. And then what happens? Oh, well, JD's saying nice shit, so yeah, you're good, buddy. You can come hang around, Hogg. I won't block you from fucking. You guys notice that shit? You guys notice that keeps fucking happening? And we're supposed to not call it out. In the day and age where Epstein files are being dropped left, right, and center, and conspiracy theorists are being proved right every fucking day, we're not supposed to point out the patterns we're seeing here. We're not supposed to pick up what you're putting down. Okay, sure thing, bro. Sure thing.
I want to help the next generation. AJ said, let me give you something to talk about. Everyone wants to say, oh, WWE put you in the Hall of Fame so you can go to AEW. Guys, I'm retired from wrestling in the ring. That's all this is. I make my own choices. I make my own decisions. I was ready. So he is saying he is done with all wrestling.
Yeah, well, a week before, he said that, you know, even when you retire, you would get some freebies.
That is what he said. He said, I might want to wrestle if my son ever gets in the ring. And
yeah, so
now he's saying he is retired.
Well, I'm sure that if his son wrestles and gets somewhere, that he'll come out of retirement for that. But I mean, as far as full-time wrestling, I wouldn't be surprised. But you know, I mean,
if his son gets something somewhere. Still leaving the window open, Dave, is for it could be AEW.
Totally, completely serious. I mean, and many people that retired are, and very, very few actually.
Dave, you're a retired R. Dave, you're an R who should retire.
Didn't come back. I mean, obviously Sting didn't, but he was 65 years old at the time. You know what I mean?
Like 66, 67, 67.
But most people, you know, did come back. I'm not saying that he will. I'm just saying that the odds are historically that he will. You know, if the day comes and someone says like, dude, you know, they make an offer like Shawn Michaels got, you know, who really didn't want to ever wrestle again. And you just do it because his absent makes the heart grow fonder. There could be this idea of a dream match with somebody in WWE. I don't think he'll go to AEW, but I don't even want to rule that out completely. But I don't think he will. I never thought he would. My thought always was that if he was going to go to AEW, he'd have been there on day one in 2019.
They all fantasize about that. He was supposed to be on that Dynamite, but then blah. Or is it that these people, these wrestlers, are nice to Tone? And they string him along a bit, and then he runs to, oh, yeah, and AJ said he would have signed with me right away. But there's always a but, and Tone learned he can't just throw money at people. Can't throw money at Hobbs to stay and do Dick All, who have bigger dreams. He can't just throw money at Jade. That's why they shit on Jade. And remember, Tone was dumbfounded when Jade left. He's like, I gave her a money offer that I didn't think she could refuse. Why? Why did she refuse it? And why did you think you could just keep running up the money on that? Because it wasn't about the money to her. And she's trying to be nice to you, Tone. And go, well, WWE's offering me this. I'll offer 10 times. Okay? So here's Dave Meltzer. He gets in the controversy here a little bit. He talks about the Janelle Grant stuff. And he wonders if WWE used part of the Janelle Grant case as inspiration for a storyline. Of course, he's going to attribute that to them, which isn't outside the realm of possibility, you know. But I just think it's just something people are being hung up on they're just sitting there and trying to attribute Vince is still in charge, and they did that in the honor of Vince, in Vince's name. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan is wearing like fixed up BDSM fucking lingerie dominatrix fucking lingerie. She is incorporating shit like that in her gear and all of this. Her whole thing is like she's a home wrecker, kind of a salute that hooah, right? That was kind of her gimmick for a little bit. Maybe you could say still is a little bit, as far as like stealing Dom away and all of that. And at the time, her sending lewd photos, I mean, that kind of would fit in her character, or the implication of lewds, especially at that time where she's trying to win the Judgment Day over and get Dom away from everyone else, and they're all investigating what's going on between them because Rhea Ripley was about to get the boot and all of that. I mean, it was a story beat. Does that mean Vince was in control and they were like, let's do this to shame Janelle Grant, even though Triple H and Steph kind of have beef with Vince and they kind of have beef with Shane too and stuff like that? I don't know, man.
All right, let's kick it off with
conspiracy
Janelle
time
Grant
with Dave Meltzer.
Was at the an Alliance to End Sexual Violence event, and she discussed the impact of the NDA, and she was on camera. And man, this was when I watched it, I was like, man, this woman is very brave to come out here and talk about this stuff.
People try and talk about the NDA, the impact the NDAs have on Tony's company. And this is why Mega's fucking mad at Tone, because like all the NDA shit she had to fucking deal with, for sure. She's like their lawyer, I'm pretty sure. Imagine all the shit she was drafting and writing up just to protect Tony's ass. And meanwhile, that's never a topic of discussion. And Kylie Ray, again, I'm not trying to drum this up because she's in a good place now and stuff, but when that whole thing blew up, oh, hush, hush, no one talk about it. No one could be victimized. How dare you say anybody could have been victimized with an NDA in any type of way? But now it's fucking, yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about it. Janelle Grant, it's the fucking WWE storylines. Fuck out of here.
I mean, it was interesting, her perspective on everything. Particularly, she was very clearly hurt by that Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley storyline, which we kind of knew was based on it, but I didn't think like she would actually have any idea. And
I'm sure she just had people texting her saying, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Yeah. So it was kind of like, from her perspective, I guess it would probably make you a lot madder that they kind of like, oh, this is how they react. They make it a storyline.
Yeah, I mean, Dave's being kind of fair there. Like a Care Bear. You're a poet and didn't know it. But somewhere he's not fair is just in his journalistic integrity in general. Right? And this is like the 10th time we've caught Dave fucking making bullshit up, seeing something on Twitter, reporting it as if it's true, spurging out about it after, and then Meltzer said what, or somebody pulling his card and going, but you said you looked into it after. So recently this happened with the Seth Rollins injury thing. Recently it also happened with, what story was it, where Dave and them, Brody King and WBD and the Ice thing. Dave just reports some bullshit going off of a whim. And even though we all know he could have just checked in with Tony Khan and AEW, I think he can check in with WWE, but like I've broken down a million times, it's fucking, he's getting 3-month-old whiteboard stuff that they're not doing anymore. And whoever stooges to him is a controlled stooge for sure. But you know, Dave can actually do one fucking modicum of journalism and actually confirm these things, or at least go, well, this is what I was told. I'm just a journalist. I fucking asked them directly, and this is what they said to me. They might be lying. Who knows? I don't know the answer, but this is what I'm being told. He doesn't do that. He just sees shit on Twitter. This is what happened with the Danielson thing too recently, where he's like, oh, but I thought Danielson was going back to WWE. It's like, no, Dave, you're just like scrolling Twitter and you're just seeing sickos and wackos, like the lowest bottom of the fucking barrel, fish at the bottom of the fucking barrel, the crabs at the bottom of the bucket, the very bottom. Sicko and wackos going at it with each other. And maybe some of those wackos are trolling sickos and going, yeah, well, Danielson's coming back. That's why blah, blah, blah. Like maybe that is what you're reading online, but he's just mental. and he's deluded and he reads shit on Twitter and then he reports it as true. And then he melts down when you point this out and he calls people frauds and shit when you point this out. And he does it all the fucking time. Now, this is another instance of that. And we covered this a while ago. I put it into the intro, the Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week little music video. Stick around at the end of the show when I do the sign off. Just watch the little 1 minute long music video that I made for this show, where I actually put that tweet of this one here, where it's like Backlash will be at the Tokyo Dome. Backlash tweet was apparently fake because people clown Dave for it, but it should have got way more attention than it did at the time. And it's just such a minor thing that just speaks volumes when it comes to Dave.
For, the young superstar, babyface, that former heel thing. So,
because this gets pointed out again. So feels like there's been a directive sent roughly around the time word broke of the Chicago blackout. And Julian Weeks says close to 12. And this is so funny too. These guys, heel Matt, feels like there's been a directive sent roughly around the time word broke of the Chicago blackout. No, buddy. A bunch of publications talked about the blackout. A bunch of people were clowning WWE. And then the reaction to that was a bunch of people responding. If anything, the argument would be there was a directive to put out stuff shitting on the Chicago blackout or whatever. All the fucking dirt sheets were running with it. If anything, you could make that argument. But the reaction to the action isn't the direction. It can be. But Julian Weeks just defends WWE. Julian Weeks is one of these guys who, if WWE goes, we just made $180 billion, he goes, man, they fucking made $180 billion, So if you want to call that standing or whatever, fine, but it's not like it's any less cool or more cool than standing AEW. You know what I mean? You just stand a lesser popular wrestling fed. What's the difference? But either way, Dave responds to this and goes, amazing. The fraud wrote that after I'd already written about it. And I'd been covering the advance for the show going back 2 months. Yeah, because that's your job, Dave. That fraud wrote that after I'd already written about it. Dave, he's a guy on Twitter. His job isn't wrestling journalist. If you're doing your job, Dave, everybody's going to be talking about shit after you. Stupid idiot.
Stupid idiot.
How is that a flex? And he's just a guy on Twitter. He wrote that. This isn't a publication. It's just a fucking tweet. This isn't this isn't the New York Times. Dave, how many times do other dirt sheets write shit, then you steal their stories too, and they keep calling you out for it? And then Julian Weeks just pones them. Apparently I'm a fraud. The same guy who put these lies out. And we actually catch Dave. Meltzer said what follows up, and we just catch him. Ash, catch him. Catching L's like fucking Pokemon. Ripping Dave like Pokemon packs, dude. I don't know. But Dave, he can check in on this shit, or at least he lies and says he does after the fact. But he just stooges himself as being a fraudulent. So again, this is in 2025. Someone put out, or this is in 24 rather, 2 years ago. Someone put out a tweet. Do you guys remember this? And it was a graphic that said Backlash Japan, and it was made by AI or some shit. And Meltzer just saw the tweet like everyone else did, and then fucking put a tweet out. 2025 Backlash will be at the Tokyo Dome. Literally 9 minutes later, Backlash tweet was apparently fake. How the fuck? Now I get it's your personal Twitter, but when people say, Dave, you say lies and you jump the gun and you just read shit on Twitter and then pretend you have the news. And then he goes, no, I don't. And then he blocks you on his Twitter. And then he looks to his polls and literally goes, my polls and everybody in my bubble says that blah, 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 blah. You can't then cop out and go, well, it's my personal Twitter. Not that Dave even did this. I'm steel manning or straw manning a fucking defense so I can topple it over like the big bad wolf, little piggy. Dave Meltzer will sit there and do shit like this. 2025 Backlash will be at the Tokyo Dome. Says it matter-of-factly, definitively. Oh, the tweet was apparently a fake. Then why'd you fucking tweet it? Why'd you tweet it matter-of-fact? Why don't you go, oh, I fact-checked with WWE, and that's actually not the case, like a real journalist would do. Any real journalist would fucking go ahead and look this up or contact whoever. And again, this is another, like, Wrestle Purist post this. We were told that Roman Reigns will be the odd man out of the WWE title picture. He's scheduled to return at the Rumble, and no one would expect his direction to be clearer there. The two ideas for Mania at this point is a three-way for the title, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, he fucking won the Rumble and is in the world title picture. And then again, Dave, it's followed up here. So the kicker of Dave Fraud Meltzer's Backlash report was that he actually contacted WWE, and this could be a lie too. Dave could 100% have fucking lied about this to try and save face. Well, I actually reached out to them and they confirmed it, even though it's just confirmed because the guy who put out the fucking graphic confirmed it himself. So
Tell us what you
right?
know, you goddamn liar!
But Dave goes, confirmed from WWE, the Tokyo Dome thing is fake. Like, we needed you to confirm that, buddy. Like, we needed you to do that when everybody did your job for you better. And so Eric Bischoff here, he goes off on Dave Meltzer and he sums it up eloquently and perfectly. And, you know, Bischoff, if you ask old Uncle E, old Eazy-E, Dave's been doing this shit. Because I always say historically and stuff, Dave is actually, you know, he's valuable in that aspect. But a lot of people point out, well, Phil, oh, come on now, Phil, that's not very fair. How do you know he wasn't fucking lying and doing the same bullshit? And Jim Cornette and Brian Last have gone into their files and shown that he has. He was doing it. He was writing condescending letters to people and being a shithead and trying to throw his weight around early on in this shit, in his dirt sheet game. And if you ask, you know, the people who were in the biz, they fucking say he was a piece of shit back then too, and skewing fucking reality back then. And he's been called out a bunch, and Shadow Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff in 83 weeks for pointing that out every single fucking week. And here's what old Uncle E had to say. We'll close out on
Dave is a pathological fraud. He makes shit up in his own mind and believes it to be true.
And now what he does, Eric. Oh, come on now, Eric. He fucking sees what people make up on Twitter and then he runs with it as if it's true. It's even worse. It's like a step worse. Like what Eric's describing could have happened in the 90s, pre-internet, in the 80s, just pathologically lying. But now there's social media where he'll take what others are saying and run with it like it's news. It's like a whole other level you couldn't even predict of fucking redact behavior, you know?
That's where the pathological part comes in. He doesn't even know he's full of shit anymore.
Right.
He doesn't even know he's flat out lying anymore because yet that concept doesn't connect in his mind. He believes it. He wants it to be true. Therefore it is. And he's been able to make a living conning and lying and twisting and distorting and spinning what little crumbs he has been able to get throughout his career.
And takes credit for, as we saw earlier, for building people up. He doesn't feel hard done by them, but he doesn't deny building them up and being the reason people fucking, he wants to take all the adulation, doesn't want any of the criticism.
And he's done it.
Interesting. Where have we seen that before? Weird. It's like birds of a feather flock together.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Successfully, and his developed, be careful what words I use, but he has an audience. He's been able to make a good living doing it.
They're retards. I'll say it for you.
Here's what else Dave has been able to do over the years.
I've got your back.
And times have changed, and Dave is not.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Irrelevant, socially disconnected, out of tune, whatever you want to call it, person out there commenting about anything.
Yeah, and then he will sit there and say things like, everyone agrees with these awards. Who's everyone? Everyone you have blocked fucking doesn't. So how does that align? And because of your pathological fraudulence, Dave, I will continue to fucking roast you, and so will Uncle E. And I will continue to play flutes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. We destroyed him. He was smashed to oblivion. Amazing stuff, guys. I would like to quickly plug PWT Podcast is back with a vengeance. I did an episode with JJ Alexander, PWT Podcast episode 102. It's over on youtube.com/@ProWrestleTimes or wherever you listen to podcasts. We break down the whole Niccolo Piccolo, Tony Khan, Casey Wasserman, Epstein file, burner account, Ron, Paul Rudd, John Alba, Kayla Braxton saga, okay? NFL commissioner saga. There's a lot that goes into that. Make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you check out patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes for exclusive content, early access to stuff, and bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week. One coming in hot. I watched the interview that Giga Chad Van Vliet did with Dave Meltzer back in the day. And I've been Phil S. Mark. Love you all, and take it easy. Flutes in the chat. See you next time.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a US
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.